one. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ring Post Radio. I'm going to take my glasses off. I just forgot I was wearing these. Welcome, everybody, to Ring Post Radio, the only show that is the best show in the history of the internet. I'm your host, Ryan Knightsey. With me, as always, is the man, myth, legend, Scotty Edwards. Scotty, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. You know, it's pretty crazy that Impact Wrestling's doing Under the Siege the same time that Little Mermaid comes out.
Of course. And so what you're saying is that you're deciding between Impact Under Siege and the new Little Mermaid.
No, Under the Siege.
Under the Siege. Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah. I've been singing that all morning in my head. And I just looked at something that said Under Siege, and I said, oh, well, I'm going to make a stupid joke now. But hello, everyone. We're here on a Friday. And, you know, this is one of those times where I think coming on a Friday actually makes sense because we got a lot to talk about. And I have a lot to say. And I'm well rested for the first time in maybe the history of Ring Post Radio. So,
what?
Uh-oh.
So we got some spiciness coming our way, is what you're saying.
Yeah, we got some spicy chalupas coming up. I don't even know what a chalupa is.
Is a chalupa like a big burrito or a smaller burrito?
It's probably something from that Taco Bell sells, which means I definitely don't know what it is. If anyone listening could tell me what a chalupa is, I would really appreciate it. It sounds effed up, but might be good.
Are you not a Taco Bell guy? Are you an anti-Alex Zane?
I'm actually not an anti-Taco Bell guy. I just don't have one near me, so I don't go to Taco Bell.
Fair enough.
That is the secret of not going to Taco Bell. So I don't really know what a chalupa is. Now I'm going to look it up.
All right. Well, while you look that up, God, I hate Twitter.
It is a fried tortilla in the shape of a boat. All right.
Can I real quick tangent? I hate Twitter. I think they updated the Twitter. Elon Musk, I guess.
Okay.
I think they updated the Twitter. So you know how like when you like go to write a tweet on like the web version of Twitter, it says what is happening?
Yeah.
Now just a tiny thing that just frustrates me is now what is happening. Before it was what is happening ? Now it's what is happening ? It's just a tiny thing that frustrates me. That's just like why did that have to be changed? Why does that little tiny bit have to be changed?
I think it's time to be worried for this episode if those little things are what's angering Ryan this morning, because that means there's probably bigger things that might be angering Ryan this morning.
Anyways, there's a lot of things that are angering me right now. There's a lot of things. Let's get to it.
Start it up.
We got a big damn show for you folks. Of course, we're talking Double or Nothing, which is the pay-per-view for AEW this Sunday. We're going to be talking New Japan Resurgence. Reviewing that show that happened this past Sunday. We're going to be talking the best of the Super Junior 30 semi-final matches, block final matches, the and previewing the finals that will be happening this Sunday as well. We're going to be talking if we have time for it, and that's why it's getting pushed to the back. Also because it's a Saudi Arabia show, Night of Champions. WWE's Night of Champions show. Again, a Saudi Arabia event that you and I both forgot that was in Saudi Arabia, which I guess is a point to WWE of how well they are doing of making us forget where these shows are taking place. But we can't forget.
It's sad because it's actually like one of their better cards too.
A world champion is being crowned tomorrow.
Yep. And Gunther's wrestling.
And versus Ali, so it's probably a squash.
That's fine.
That's fine. And of course, we got a bunch of other news. So let's get to the news of the day. Starting off with a resolution to one of the bigger news items from the past week, which we spent like an hour on in our past episode. The United Center has officially been announced as the first location for AEW Collision, June 17th. Of course, the United Center is in Chicago, Illinois, and when it was announced, it was sort of met with a mixed reaction, but the immediate reaction was some fans cheering, "Punk, punk, punk," because as the
CM
hardcores all
Punk,
know,
CM Punk.
this
CM Punk.
this definitely means now, presumably, assuming nothing goes wrong, fourth quarter, this means CM Punk is coming back officially to AEW.
Months ago he was coming back. I don't know if people wanted to believe me or not, but it's happened. It's happened. It's here. And you know what I said to someone this week? It's nice to be a fan of both CM Punk and the Elite, because then that way you can just enjoy AEW for all its glory. And that's what I am. I'm a fan of CM Punk and the Elite. And you know what's good about CM Punk coming back?
What's that?
A lot of things. CM Punk's really good at the pro wrestling part of this whole aspect. I don't know if people forget that. Let's just say exciting things are coming in the form of CM Punk in professional wrestling on Saturday nights on Collision. Also, shout out Scorpio Sky and his funny return by just being in the graphic for Collision. I thought that was not the graphic, the like the little video for it.
Yes, I noticed that as well. Scorpio Sky, not on the poster. Didn't make it to the poster.
Yeah, well.
Oof. Sorry, Scorp. I'm excited to see Punk back in. I'm excited for Collision.
Excited for Collision.
Excited for Collision. Yeah, I'm excited to see Punk wrestling again. I think that's good. I am very interested now knowing that Punk is officially coming in, and that, well, now knowing that Punk is officially coming in, quote unquote, I guess, that what that ticket sales will sort of look like too for Collision, because they've not started out great. I am still intrigued why we're still
terrible this upcoming Wednesday.
I'm still intrigued, or I'm still unsure why they didn't announce Punk and why all this effort to make it a surprise. Obviously, we learned that the Punk surprise is more of Punk wanting it to be a surprise, as we have learned in the past week.
You're welcome. Accidentally,
you're welcome. We got broke that news accidentally before anyone else. That's fine. We're a news outlet. Sort of cite us. Yeah. So that being the case, that Punk wants to be a surprise, I think that's an interesting tactic. Obviously, they're trying to sell out the United Center again with CM Punk, and at least with the pre-sale is not anywhere close to a sellout. So, I don't think the expectations for it to be a sellout either. However, I think if they want it to be close to that and want the other days to have better stuff, and if you want to, I would say, advertise a new TV show, I think they need to unveil CM Punk sooner rather than later, sooner than Collision.
I don't only think they have to do that. I think they need to unveil a card.
Yes, that's also very true.
As you should for a wrestling show.
Yeah. I think when is the actual sale goes on today? Yeah.
Yeah, today at 10.
So maybe we'll get an actual card next week on Dynamite or something. They're gonna see what the sale does and then announce another card later.
Yeah, I will say tickets are selling a lot better Collision wise in the US rather than Canada.
Oh yeah, Canada's, except for the final night of the Owen Hart tournament, which is like 3,000 tickets sold already. There's like one show in Canada, I think it's either like Regina or it's like Toronto or something, that has like 600 tickets sold. It's like, oof, that's a big old.
Isn't that the funny thing though about all this is like, I know people are gonna like specifically look at Collision and be like, oh, CM Punk's not a draw. No one's a fucking draw in this company right now. I just looked at the Dynamite tickets for Wednesday.
Yeah.
The show that follows up the big pay-per-view, the show that's probably going to be really good. Half the building's still on sale.
Yeah. The tickets are down for AEW across the board.
They went up in price.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously interest isn't as high as it once was. And it's not a good combo. And it's really paying off. That being said, I think Collision will be fine.
Yeah, I think Collision will be fine. I do think, however, that announcing Punk will help it a lot, and like physically seeing Punk. That I hope I see Punk at the end of Double or Nothing. I think that would be a cool closer for the show, and I think that would help because I tweeted this out that I was like, I feel like it's weird not having Punk in any of the Collision advertising, not even until the first episode, because it like to me it'd be like running Dynamite without having Chris Jericho in when Dynamite first started in 2019, it'd be like running Dynamite in 2019 without announcing Chris Jericho or without him being in any advertising special. It just feels weird and stupid. Like, I get doing it at first when it's like Rampage, the second episode of Rampage and all this other stuff, but now it's like when your company is cold right now, ticket wise selling, you might have to throw out the big guns. That's my only thought.
And I've tossed out for that reason the idea of him showing up at Double or Nothing rather than, because that as a initial surprise may be good enough, and then all right, now you're gonna have to wait to see CM Punk on Collision.
Yeah,
I think that's always a possibility. I'm nervous about the Canada dates for all the shows.
Yeah,
truthfully, not just except for Forbidden Door, obviously, because like the Dynamite tickets, which have obviously been on sale longer. There's still a lot. I know for a lot of these shows, they're not opening up the bleachers, like the top sections for a lot of these shows right now. And obviously that's on purpose. But if you look at the tickets for like any of the Dynamite shows that are the same week, obviously, none of it's good. It's all bad. It's all bad. And I think as a collective mindset as an AEW fan, you want them all to be good. This shouldn't just be and I know it's going to be Collision versus Dynamite for the foreseeable future, but this should be a AEW trying to get hot again mindset. That's what they need to do. And I think someone made a great point on Twitter this week. This week's Dynamite episode really did feel like we're already we're rather than building for Double or Nothing, we're building for Collision, Forbidden Door, All In. They're real key events rather than this pay-per-view. This pay-per-view, well, I'm sure it'll be great because AEW pay-per-views are more often than not great than not. They do feel like they're just trying to build to the next thing rather than care about these other things. And the last thing I'll say is I know why they didn't do it, but if had Collision maybe started around All In time, boy, wouldn't it have been better if you could have done the shows around Europe rather than Canada?
just a hotter market,
sold out.
Presumably a hotter market.
Yeah, I think they would have been a lot better there.
Or just run Dynamite in the States and Collision in Europe for a little bit, and then bring it back.
Yeah, just have the two sets over.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, I think it's all going to be interesting. Well, speaking of trying to like boost, the numbers here a little bit, make everything more exciting and more hot, AEW have signed arguably the tag team of the year. For me, tag team of last year.
Hell, I'll say it, the best tag team in the world today.
I would agree. At least one of them is injured, but that's besides the point. Aussie Open, Kyle Fletcher and Mark Davis have signed with AEW. There was a report an hour before by Fightful saying that WWE and AEW were interested in them. And then AEW scooped that out from them.
So Fightful does this like a lot. They'll like say like there's a heavy, there's a heavy chance this person returns or this person's gonna sign, and then within a day it happens. It's like, oh, so you're just giving us a heads up. You're doing the wink, wink, nudge, nudge without saying it, and I get that.
It's AEW's giving them the scoop to
hey, don't spoil it. Just let the people know. Like, keep an eye out.
What was I going to say about this? Obviously they have signed to it. They weren't signed to New Japan. A lot of people were sort of upset that they're not upset that AEW is signing Aussie Open. They would say, most people would say that's completely fair. I would say it's completely fair. But there were some detractors saying that they were upset that New Japan never got the actual contract clause into them. But baby, that's just how New Japan rolls with foreign talent. They don't sign them for whatever reason for a while, and then until they're actually comfortable with signing them for whatever reason. So didn't get Aussie Open here. That's disappointing. That's going to hurt the tag division in New Japan. But Kyle Fletcher is a standout. And not only, sorry, I'm going to think about this now. Kyle Fletcher is 100% a standout. Kyle Fletcher is 100% like a guy that is on the way up, that is slowly going to be next. But what makes me frustrated about New Japan not signing them is twofold. One, New Japan missed out on a potential new up-and-coming foreign star.
Yeah.
I think now they're just going to put all their eggs in El Phantasmo's basket instead of Kyle Fletcher or anything like that.
Buddy, again, David Finlay, you're going to like
it. Twofold, this also adds more to the fire of Will Ospreay and his contract stuff. With Tony Khan likes Will Ospreay. Obviously, he likes Aussie Open. Will Ospreay is very similar to Aussie Open, and Will Ospreay is like currently working with Kenny Omega and all this other stuff. Will Ospreay's contract comes due January of next year. If New Japan misses out on a Kyle Fletcher and a Will Ospreay, I don't think that's good for New Japan at all. I'm not saying it's going to happen, obviously, but that wouldn't be good for them. And obviously, they're going to try hard to keep Will Ospreay. But if they miss out on both of those guys, that's a lot of big time, great worker, international talents they're going to lose. And I think a future Will Ospreay-esque character in Kyle Fletcher is going to hurt them in the long run. And if they lose Will Ospreay, it's going to hurt them even more. But what are your thoughts on Aussie Open signing to AEW?
I think I'm going to boldly say it won't hurt New Japan because they have so much young talent coming up, but not having those international main eventers can hurt them. I think we saw that. We obviously saw, the past few years when they didn't have certain people, it did hurt. But at the same time, I do think that they have a lot of things going for them, even without, say Aussie Open now. Losing Ospreay and Jay White within a year span would be really bad. But they can figure out. I'm not too worried about them. In terms of the AEW side of things, I think there needs to be discussion about this. This isn't me saying it's a bad thing, it's a good thing. But they are signing away essentially all of their partners' top stars.
Yeah.
Jay White, Aussie Open. All right. Well, Jay White was a different case because he wanted to come home. He not home, but he wanted to come to the States exclusively. But all right, so those two.
Roosh, Bandito,
soon to be Vikingo, I'm sure.
Dragon Lee was probably scoped out by AEW, but WWE got him first.
Konosuke Takeshita, Yuka Sakazaki. The list goes on and on. Every connection they have, they take the top stars. And obviously, some of these companies understand that, and they like that. They understand they are essentially building these stars so that they can move on. And New Japan's not that.
And you also have the potential of these contracts that are getting signed by, they can become even bigger stars in the States and come back to their domestic markets and be potentially
they just don't go back. That's the thing. They don't really go back. They go back for like a cup of coffee and then come back.
Takeshita comes back for like a match or two. Yuka is like weird because she's like always.
Well, Yuka's full on leaving though.
Yeah, that's true. She's finally full.
That's
on
a big thing. And Yuka's been signed the whole time, so it's different. But still, like that was the ultimate when
obviously Jay White's Jay White's not coming back to New Japan at all.
Right. And I was like, don't get me wrong. They should sign Aussie because New Japan wasn't. Yeah. That's not Tony Khan's fault.
That's New Japan's fault for not signing.
Absolutely. But it does get interesting. Like, how long can this keep going until it's too much?
Yeah.
And then it's like, when I sit here and think of why certain relationships may not have happened yet, I say, could be the reason. One way or the other, that certain things don't necessarily click. And I think there's a reality, truthfully, where AEW fans just want every great wrestler signed to AEW, and they don't, because some people are just lazy and they don't want to go find these wrestlers elsewhere.
Sure.
That's just always been the reality. I remember when Maki Ito wrestled in TJ, not TJ, in AEW the first time. They're like, oh, they should sign her. I was like, she is signed to a contract in another company. What
Yeah.
do you want them to do? Um, it's just that's always been the case, and I get it because it's your favorite promotion. Why look
Yeah.
elsewhere? But AEW only has so much time. I know they're adding 2 more hours of television, thank God,
Yeah.
but they only have so much time. I know Takesha's injured right now, but listen, his injury, I don't think it lasts, almost a month and a half.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But it's things like that. People just fall off the face of the earth after a while, and signing these people, that is what Tony Khan should be doing. If he didn't sign Aussie Open, he would have been dumb.
Yes.
But that was my overarching thought. I was like, this is happening a lot now.
Yeah.
Takeshita made sense. Takeshita did everything in DDT. He could leave.
Yeah.
Yuka Sakazaki did everything in TJ Patelia. She could leave. But still, you're signing these people away. It's like, I feel like that hurts a relationship eventually. I don't know how much Aussie Open will continue in New Japan. They could, a decent amount, but
They've at least hinted towards that with
yes,
with Resurgence.
maybe I'm sour that Kyle Fletcher is not gonna be a big star in New Japan too.
Missing out on that G1 Climax Kyle Fletcher run.
Devastated.
Yeah.
Devastated.
But I am excited to see Kyle Fletcher in AEW. I'm excited to see Aussie Open there. I hope they go back to New Japan because they were fantastic in New Japan.
I guess my last thing is if AEW showed more willingness to share talent for the big tournaments, I wouldn't care as much.
Yes,
but all I get is Lance Archer.
Yes,
and Wheeler Yuta.
The idea that when they'll sign some of your top stars to to them international contracts to AEW to the United States.
Yeah.
And then when they're like, okay, cool, here's some people. Lance Archer, great, okay. Kenny Omega's work in New Japan, but that's seems more Kenny Omega's
2 dates.
A couple dates.
Hasn't been back.
AAA, you're a partner right now, AAA. Who do you want? QT Marshall? You want him? What else we got?
It's so funny to me because they claim that they need these people. They don't need these people. Half of them aren't on TV.
Yeah, and more of them could be going out there. I don't see why not. I don't know.
I understand why Bryan Danielson's not going to the G1. I get that.
Yeah,
his body probably can't handle it either. Truthfully, at this point,
I don't care. I would love to see it still, but go on.
Right, but I understand why you're not sending him.
Yeah.
But you could send Swerve, you could send Keith Lee, you could send Ricky Starks, you could send Jay White. You can send all these people that you don't use. You could pretty much send half the Blackjack Battle Royal.
I mean, that's probably true. That's probably true.
A little angry about that. But you know what? Forbidden Door season. Maybe things can change.
Who knows? We'll find out after
when they sign Ospreay away. That could be a limit.
Nick Khan spoke on a podcast, I think it was the other day, about the WWE TV rights sort of potential. It's this whole sort of bit with Nick Khan, I thought, by the way. I'll go into with the things he talked about, but it felt like a lot of throwing spaghetti at the wall of just throwing out whatever ideas might stick.
Just saying.
So
who would ever do that?
Among the ideas talked about was that he said that they would be open to moving Raw off of Monday, and that they would also be open to add a third hour to SmackDown. Obviously, both of these moves will need to come at the right price. He also talked about potential changes to NXT with the idea of building up ratings and being able to eventually get stronger renewal rights for the product to the point of marketing again as a third major brand instead of developmental. He also said that considering making the third hour of Raw more adult-oriented, and that they might go back to the old strategy of NXT having a higher level of star power on the show, using more experienced talent from Raw and SmackDown, and no longer considering it a developmental show, as I said before. He also noted that they could move SmackDown off of Fridays. So yeah, he's talking about changing up the third hour of Raw, moving Raw off of Monday, moving SmackDown off of Friday, moving Tuesday around, making NXT a third brand. I think I also read somewhere that he mentioned adding a whole other show. There's talks of wanting to do a Lucha Libre show. At this point, it should be noted, at this point, negotiations are still legally exclusive for NBCU for Raw. I believe I read somewhere that the Fox window has ended. They could still negotiate with Fox, but the exclusive Fox thing has ended. So, yeah, I don't know if they want to do that. He's also mentioned ideas of telecasting Raw or SmackDown onto another product. So obviously, Raw is on USA, but they could telecast it to NBC and get that sort of dual purpose TV viewing. So, thoughts on this whole Nick Khan thoughts and what could be coming in this new TV rights negotiations for WWE?
It's a lot.
It's a lot of spaghetti.
Third hour SmackDown bad. Raw, get it, changing up what their third hour is. I feel like I've heard that forever. Bring back Raw Underground. SmackDown moving nights wouldn't be a big shock. They've done Tuesdays before, obviously, so that's not really like a big deal to me.
But the presumption there also would be if SmackDown moves, it would be still live because that's live sports.
Moving Raw, that's disgusting. Don't you ever think about that? It's been Monday Night Raw for as long as it's existed. Don't do that. That's not acceptable. It just does sound like a lot of just, hey, let's just say all these things and maybe one will catch on type of thing.
Yeah.
To me, probably majority of it doesn't matter, won't matter. NXT is a third brand. Ha! You had your shot at that. You gave up on it long ago. It's developmental. Couldn't be more developmental if you try. It's developmental and NXT UK combined. It is NXT 2.0 and NXT UK combined. Your least popular versions of the NXT brand as one.
Yeah.
Not gonna happen. Yeah, that's just a lot of Nick Khan BS. I don't have many thoughts about it other than none of it's gonna become anything.
The only thought I had about this was being open to moving all that stuff around, their entire schedule and lineup around is very interesting. Adding a third hour of SmackDown would be tough just because if it stayed on Fox, it would be tough.
Yeah.
If they move, they can add a third hour. That means more money for the company, so I can see why they're pitching it. Also, but if it stays on Friday, that runs up against Rampage. If they move another show, they can move to Wednesdays. They can move
it's Rampage.
No. My point is that
yeah, I know.
There is a world where SmackDown stays on Fridays and has a third hour up against Rampage. Their pay-per-views are on Saturday. And thank you, Jesse. Very kind of you. Thank you. Give me a glass of water. And Raw gets moved to, I don't know, Wednesdays, not saying that's going to happen, but that's just
Wednesday Night Raw and Thursday Night SmackDown.
It feels like there's an open door to we can move things around and maybe just destroy our competition if we wanted to. That's what it feels like to me.
Yeah, I mean, if a network came to them and said, we have a Wednesday slot with $1 billion for you on the line, they would say yes in an instant.
Yeah.
And I don't think it would be because of the AEW aspect. It's the aspect
$1 billion.
Of, you want to give us that much money?
Yeah,
here you go.
Yeah,
that's what I think of it more of. And their openness is for that reason, right? Now they're looking for that. And I'm sure they're going to get plenty of money for both Raw and SmackDown. Because SmackDown, despite it technically being a fail on Fox, just because Fox wanted more money from it, it established itself as a brand. Remember when last time TV deals came out, NBC didn't want it anymore, and then they sold it to Fox, and now it's a hot commodity all of a sudden. So
it's they've turned SmackDown around to be a little bit better, and I don't know if Fox, obviously they did not nail a deal exclusively with Fox. To renew SmackDown.
Get my hopes up that happens.
I think it's fully going to probably go back to NBC Universal, or it just goes somewhere else completely entirely. They're working a lot with Disney on different sort of small little projects here and there. So there's Nick Khan is certainly he keeps talking about Amazon as well. So he certainly has foots in the door of different other properties. And he keeps mentioning them despite being exclusive legal talks with NBC Universal. So I don't know. It seems like Nick Khan is open to business. I could see the NBC Universal exclusivity window end, and then they talk to like everyone to try to get the most amount of money possible.
As you should. Though I'll be shocked if NBC loses Raw.
Yeah, I would be too. I think NBC is going to do everything in the power to do it. And there's another aspect to this whole thing that I actually want to talk about that I just remembered. I should have written this down. This is all happening. This TV rights negotiation deal is happening in the midst of the WGA writer strike. Yep. In the midst of a bunch of studios and television media properties are having a bunch of productions halt, a bunch of writers not being able to write scripts. And I should say, completely for the WGA strike, as a member of the IATSE union, obviously I fully support them. I fully support not getting rid of the writer's room. I fully support paying them streaming fees rights, because streamers at that point make enough money like any other studio. They should be paid. We should be paid the same as other studio rates. And third, a big one that I think is flying under the radar is getting AI out of the fucking writer's room. Because no one really talks about that much, but that I am so anti-AI, you don't want to talk about it. It's insane. But that's a whole nother story for another day. If anyone asked about it, I will happily give you an answer about why it's bad and why it's horrendous for like the future of like all writing in general. Beyond that, I really fully support them, but a bunch of productions and a bunch of studios are now losing written content. WWE is sitting right here with 3 plus 2, maybe 3 with SmackDown, 5 to 6 plus NXT plus a Lucha Libre show they want to do. They're sitting here with, I don't know, roughly 10 hours of content that they maybe want to push, live content that they're trying to sell at a time where a bunch of studios do not have any written content being made right now.
We can say all we want about WWE.
They have a lot of leverage.
They are smart. There's a reason they are in the position they're in. There's a reason Fox paid them so much money, and they said, "Yeah, here you go. Have our show. We'll book for you. We'll give you Roman Reigns. That's it." That's why they make all these deals, and that's why they're, despite the past couple of years having the worst shows I think WWE's ever had until Triple H took over, and even some of those stink. They're just making record profits, and they're going to keep making record profits, and they're going to keep doing it and doing it and doing it. We may not talk about it today, but they have a freaking Saudi show where they're going to make shit ton of money on Saturday. And you know what? The Peacock deal is underappreciated for WWE. They have more eyes on their product than ever because of that streaming service. Yeah, I know not all however million are watching it.
Yeah.
But it's a lot more than they were watching on the network.
A lot more potential eyes.
Exactly. That's why WrestleMania was the most watched WrestleMania ever. It's just the reality here. Because when you go onto Peacock, if you go onto the app, if a WWE live show is happening on that service, it is the top presented thing.
Yep.
They know what they're doing. It's smart all around. I got to give them credit where credit's due. I may not love all their business tactics, but damn it, 10 hours of potential live television per week? Yeah, that's going to make them bank, because live content is the best content right now.
Especially right now, where they now have a bunch of money and they can just funnel it into WWE. I am, with the whole Collision thing, there was that report on the media call of like, oh yeah, it's not really a new deal. We didn't get extended. I'm like sitting here like, how did you not figure out a new deal? How did you not extend the contract? Now's the time, Yeah. Like you got it. Like being loyal to Turner, I think, is a dumb idea, because now is the time. We don't know about their 1 year contract being extended or whatever, the 1 year option. But it's like, now's the time to sell your product. Yep. WWE's has stumbled into the perfect time where they have the most amount of leverage.
We're watching the only TV shows. We're covering the only TV shows, right, that don't have to worry about the strike. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Like, I know it's like more sports like because it's live and it's live in ring competition.
Of
But
course.
this is the only TV show on TV that doesn't have to worry about this.
Yeah.
Well, both of them.
Yeah.
And they should be taking advantage of that in every single way.
In
moving
52
forward.
weeks out of the year.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Speaking of we'll seeing what happens, this Sunday is the Double or Nothing show for AEW. Their pay-per-view coming out of Las Vegas at the T-Mobile Arena. The lineup is pretty much set. There'll probably be more matches announced, probably one more match announced. Dave projects one more match being announced on Rampage tonight, tomorrow. I don't know. But we got a basic card here for Double or Nothing. So you ready to preview this bad boy, Scotty?
Yeah, I'm already gonna say that I hate that there's no 0 hour. I hate it.
Well,
I
no
like
0 hour
the-
announced yet, right? There's presumably going to be one, right?
Well, I know there's gonna be is it House of Black and the Acclaimed, I think?
Yeah, that's the
getting
match
added?
that Dave is saying happens and
Which
happens in
makes
Rampage.
sense. They've been building to that
Mm-hmm.
for they've been building up the Acclaim for that. I wouldn't say they've been building the story to it, but who the hell cares? Just trio belt.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's at least interesting kind of where we're going here.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about the show.
Yeah, let's talk about this bad boy. So the first match on this little docket here, Chris Jericho versus Adam Cole in an unsanctioned match with, of course, it has here special enforcer, but I was told it was in Adam Cole's corner.
Well, it said special enforcer in the graphic.
Yeah, but I thought he was in his corner, but it doesn't matter. Special enforcer Sabu, who showed up on Dynamite this past Wednesday.
Homicidal, suicidal,
genocidal.
Whatever else. So when Adam Cole was talking about this on Dynamite the other day,
Mm-hmm.
when he was saying from Las Vegas, stuff like that, I was like, oh, it's just gonna be Mike Tyson again. Mike Tyson's not from Vegas, but he fought in Vegas enough that they could have just lied and say he's from Vegas.
Yeah.
I
thought it was gonna be John Moxley. John Moxley again shows up.
Then when he said homicidal, I was like, oh dear God. I want to say that I think this has been the second best built match on this show.
Yes.
I firmly believe that.
I think underratedly built well. I think it started kind of wonky and it really took off with that Brit angle.
Yeah. And right, the Roddy match I think was a good way to continue building it. And well, I think Adam Cole was a little shaky this past week. Like he just stumbled over his words once or twice, which happens. That's just wrestling. This story has been built that I'm actually interested in watching it. That being said, this needs to be it. We don't continue the Chris Jericho feud till the next pay-per-view. Not Forbidden Door, because that's not happening. And I think that's hopefully our out here, is that because Forbidden Door is next, I don't have to worry about this story continuing.
Yeah.
I'd have Adam Cole feels like he's destined for the big title match with MJF.
That's the rumor as well.
Whether it's all in or all out, or
all in or all out, or Forbidden Door. I don't know.
Out. It won't be Full Gear. It'll be either all in or all out. I think so. I think he needs to win here.
Fighter Fest, a Road Rager, maybe.
Funny if you think MJF's gonna wrestle those.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, main event of All In. That doesn't
all out. I think it would be all out.
I think it would be all out as well. It doesn't sound like a, and maybe
I don't think they even have the world title defended on All In.
I agree, and I also think, well, I mean, it doesn't matter because you've already sold the building out. But like, I don't know. After this past storyline with MJF and the ticket sales for Collision with MJF currently on top as announced, I don't think his ticket sales and star power are quite as what we would all agree them being. But yeah, I think this match, Chris Jericho versus Adam Cole, I think I'm very excited for it. Adam Cole's unsanctioned brawling matches stuff in NXT were always pretty good. At a certain point, they would get self-indulgent, but I don't think Chris Jericho will allow Adam Cole's self-indulgence to show out because Chris Jericho has to get his self-indulgence in. So beyond that, I'm excited. I'm excited to see Sabu just throw a chair at Chris Jericho's head, because that's going to happen. And yeah, I think it should be gnarly. I think it should be a gnarly bout. I can fully expect maybe Chris Jericho getting handcuffed to the rope and Sabu throwing a chair at Chris Jericho's head, and that'll be the finish or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm excited.
Adam Cole needs to win.
100%. Adam Cole definitely. This is his big feud coming back from a years-long injury. This should 100% be a slam dunk Adam Cole win, unless they're continuing the feud for whatever reason. But I don't think they should.
That's why I need Adam Cole to win, so we're not continuing the feud.
Next up,
isn't the Owen Hart ceremony on this show?
Ceremony?
Like opening ceremonies? Yeah, like didn't they announce an opening ceremony? I'm 100% sure they did.
I have no clue what they're even talking about. Maybe.
All right.
Maybe that could make sense because the idea
I got it right here. The announcement was first made by Tony Khan in the April 26th episode. Khan revealed the opening ceremonies of the tournament will take place at the Double or Nothing pay-per-view.
Now, what does that mean? What does opening ceremonies
They'll announce who's in it.
Okay. That's interesting. That's interesting.
That has to probably be it. But yeah, so that's something to look forward to. I just want, because they haven't said it since then. They haven't even clearly, because you were like, what?
Mm-hmm. And also there's going to be presumably New Japan involvement, just like last year, but also because some matches would take place in Forbidden Door.
Can't wait for Ishii. Because it's just going to be him.
The Shota Umino, maybe. I don't know. That could be interesting.
Who's from Canada?
Who is in the States right now or has access to Canada very easily? Let's see. Should we all look at the New Japan roster? No idea.
No.
Let's move on. 6-man tag team match. Ethan Page and the Guns taking on the Hardys and Hook. Yeah, they did a write-off angle of Isaiah Cassidy with a neck injury angle, and Hook is the replacement. So again, Ethan Page and the Guns versus the Hardys and Hook.
Why is this a pay-per-view match?
Yeah, this screams buy-in to me.
This screams main event of Rampage to me.
It's a Rampage feud.
This is terrible. You put this. Listen. Hey, listen, or whatever the fuck he says. This is dumb. Like, this angers me that this is a pay-per-view match. In what world is this a pay-per-view match? This feud isn't hot enough to be a pay-per-view match. Why wasn't the firm deletion the final everything of this? Why is it still going? Is it because we need Jeff Hardy on a pay-per-view? You couldn't think of something better for Jeff Hardy? Oh, maybe a blackjack battle royal? Swerve and Keith Lee has to go on for another month because of this? Jay
White and Juice get no singles match at the pay-per-view because of this?
I'm the Blackjack Battle Royal because of this? Terrible. Absolutely awful.
I think the match can be redeemed if the Guns come out to 50 Cent again.
That's true. I may take it all back.
That's all I have about the match.
I had to rant because I was gonna save it for the Blackjack Battle Royal, but this was a perfect opportunity.
Let's roll right into it with the next match I have here. Not the Blackjack Battle Royal yet. We'll save that for later. Instead, we'll talk about the AEW TBS title match: Jade Cargill versus Taya Valkyrie.
Taya Valkyrie's bad.
Yeah,
I watched that match with Lady Frost was rough.
And it wasn't. I like Lady Frost too, and I think Lady Frost did okay in it. But I thought Taya was bringing the match down.
If you watched that, if you were a first time viewer, and you watched that match from the entrances till the end, you would have thought Lady Frost was the signed competitor, not Taya Valkyrie. Woof. That was bad. And some people are saying that Taya Valkyrie should beat Jade Cargill. We've waited this long. Why don't we just keep waiting? At this point, I don't want to see Taya Valkyrie as champion. Are you kidding me? Just put if we're just gonna toss the title on someone to get it off of Jade, Taya Valkyrie is probably at the bottom of my list for that.
I don't know. I feel like now's a good time to put the title on Willow. Ooh, too late. Another company did it. Another company did it too. Sorry, TK.
Right. New Japan did something much sooner than you did.
Well, we have to be fair to Tony Khan. He pitched Willow Nightingale for that match, so he should take the credit.
I like how people he pitched her for the Mercedes match. I was like, no. They asked him, do you have a competitor we can put in this tournament? And he said Willow. And they just happened to book her till the main event because that's what was obvious.
In a match that she was going to lose.
Yeah. Let's
Tony Khan looked at here. Tony Khan looked at the roster. And and you're saying people are saying, Tony Khan said this on the media call, that he pitched Willow and that he should be getting some credit here. No, because he looked at his roster and said, who is someone that can believably win their first match and then lose to Mercedes Moné?
And I'm going to be okay with it.
He did not pitch.
That's the most important part.
Yeah. Yeah. He did not pitch Willow beating Mercedes and this being her big spot. He did not pitch that.
No. This TBS title couldn't be more dead.
Yeah. I will say this. I heard this mentioned on other podcasts and I agree with it. That I will say this. Hats off. I think this, despite how bad this match is going to be and how despite how bad I think Taya Valkyrie is at wrestling, this is probably the best the most well-booked Jade Cargill feud since I don't know. I don't know.
Athena probably, who also should have beat Jade.
That match did happen. That match stunk because Athena was talking so loudly the entire match, and that's all you could hear because the crowd was dead.
I don't even remember that match. Yeah, this sucks. I'm so done. And the problem is it's not even Jade's fault. It really isn't.
No.
It's booking's fault. They've booked her into this hole where she can't have enough matches to improve because every match she has is a squash.
Yeah.
And anytime she has a match against someone real, she's not ready for it.
Yeah.
And this is not going to be good. This is going to be absolute stinkage.
Yeah.
But here's the thing we've accepted, right? We've accepted this. There's an Anna Jay match from one of these pay-per-views with Jade that was a dud. Absolute dud.
Yeah.
So I'm not looking forward to this one, to say the least.
No. Well, how about this? Here's a match that you might look forward to. The AEW Women's World Title match, Jamie Hayter versus Toni Storm. If the match happens, because as said on AEW television, as said on the media call yesterday with Tony Khan, as reported on by various outlets, Jamie Hayter legit hurt.
Yeah.
Going into the world title defense.
Yeah, Fightful reported on this that the women's division could look vastly different because of how Jamie's actually hurt. Mm-hmm. And obviously Tony followed that up, and it's pretty. I said this. I don't know if I said this to you or someone else, but I said it's kind of weird how we just booked this match. Yeah.
It is weird that this match just got booked, especially when someone's injured. You didn't have to book this match.
No. So, assuming all goes well.
She also booked this match while she was hurt. That needs to be clear. Tony Khan booked this match while Jamie Hayter is injured.
Peak injured, hasn't competed specifically, after the injury angle. It's not like they booked it before the injury angle and then they did the injury angle, right?
Yeah.
Again, shoot hurt. That being said, if we look at this match on paper as is, assuming all happens, should be a great match. But do I think it's going to happen as is? Not really. No one's giving me hope that it is.
Yeah. I'll also say here that, let's say Punk returns at the end of the show, right? Scott A's unsure.
Winning the title?
He's going to win. He's going to beat Jamie Hayter. No, I don't remember if I said this on the show or if I said it off air to you. That if Punk's returning, Tony Khan, he's got to do 2 returns in one night. So if Punk's returning, who's the other person returning? I think that Jamie Hayter doesn't wrestle a match, which would be bullshit, and Thunder Rosa wrestles the match instead.
And wins the belt.
And maybe wins the belt, and they bring that to Collision.
Oh, brother.
And it's Thunder Rosa versus Toni Storm. Big conspiracy theory hat on. But,
well, she's clearly ready.
She's clearly ready to go if you have to believe any Observer reports. I don't know. Yeah, that's completely like conspiracy hat. But like, why book this match if someone is legit hurt? That doesn't make any sense to me. So there has to be some other reason, and I'm trying to grasp at straws here.
God, please just put Sheeta in the match if this is the case. Just so we at least have a good match.
Yeah, my fear is that like it's going to be like a kind of a squash sort of like Toni Storm's going to come out and just beat her ass, and then that's it. Toni Storm's champ.
Yeah, I'm not feeling great about this.
If Toni Storm wins here, or Thunder Rosa, or anyone else wins this match, can we then talk? We'll talk about this on Sunday potentially. Jamie Hayter's title reign.
Absolute waste.
Absolute waste. What
absolute letdown for someone who it's not even her fault.
No, she got injured. Not. I mean, that's
no, but not even the injury. She's been in the fucking Outcast rivalry for months,
which is Britt's feud. But we'll talk about this. We'll probably save this for Sunday. So I'm gonna save that feud, that discussion, probably on patreon.com/countoutpod for the $1 tier or the $5 tier or both. Whatever one, subscribe to the Patreon and you'll be able to hear our live thoughts of this Double or Nothing. I'm doing it now because we're gonna spin that thought. I'm suspecting that Jamie Hayter is not going to hold the title after this, but we'll see. We'll see.
Kind of funny if she did.
I would love if she did. I don't know if she will. Next match. Let's go back to Angry Scotty.
This is the company behind you. This is the company where a guy said if they could help us regarding Stardom in their women's division. This is the man that said, oh, if they could help us. What do you mean if they could help you? You're booking Taya Valkyrie in pay-per-view matches. You're booking Jade Cargill, who can't wrestle more than 5 minutes. That's not her fault. You're booking an injured champion against Toni Storm just so that it all doesn't matter. And you have your main story in the women's division not even being about the world champion. Like you said, it's about Britt.
What you have to remember, Scotty, is that Tony Khan contacted Rocky Romero and
yes, to get to Stardom. Yes, because Rocky Romero is the source. Absolutely. Rocky Romero is probably like,
Rocky Romero has 2 phones: his New Japan phone and his Stardom phone. When he picks up the Stardom phone, he puts on a fedora.
Oh yeah, I'm sure Rocky Romero. Listen, the question being asked was very smart because Forbidden Door is right around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
But oh my God, if you listened to that and thought anything other than, this is the only way Stardom and AEW work together is if New Japan / Bushiroad forces one of them over. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
You're going to get money though, so.
Yeah, well. We were going to. We still don't know anything about this ankle injury or how bad.
Now you're not.
Yeah. Now you're probably not for at least a while.
She signed a New Japan contract.
Yeah.
So.
AEW International Title 21-man battle, Blackjack Battle Royal. We don't necessarily know if it's going to be like a casino battle royal where it's like, hey, people come out in waves or whatever, or if it all going to start at once. But yeah, so the competitors are here, of course. Orange Cassidy defending his title in a battle royal against the following people: Dustin Rhodes, Trent Beretta, Chuck Taylor, The Blade, Brian Cage, Ari Daivari, Tony Nese, Penta El Zero Miedo, Ray Phoenix, Juice Robinson, Big Bill, Swerve Strickland, Keith Lee, Ricky Starks, Kip Sabian, Jay Whiteo, Bandito, Lee Moriarty, Commander, and The Butcher.
I don't like battle royals at this point anymore. I just don't. I think AEW battle royals for the most part are bad. But if you really wanted to just get everyone on the card, Why didn't you make this the 0 hour and then just give Orange Cassidy a normal ass match?
If it was on the 0 hour, that's just a battle royal. What's
You
the
could have had
stakes?
someone win that and then challenge Cassidy on the show.
Ooh, and that could play into the story of Orange Cassidy doing, having all these defenses and being super injured and stuff.
Yeah.
And now the guy's facing worked early in the night, so it's a better match for Orange Cassidy.
Yeah. Instead, we just combined it all into one and made a title match battle royal, which Orange Cassidy's probably still gonna win.
Yeah. Yeah, because Swerve and Keith Lee are not going to win unless they fight over the international title moving forward. Jay White, Juice, and Starks are probably not going to win either unless they're fighting for the international title. I mean, Big Bill, Brian Cage, Commander, Butcher, Blade, Chuck Taylor, Trent Beretta, Dustin, Tony Davari, Phoenix, Penta, they're all not winning. Kip Sabian's not winning. The only other person I could see legitimately maybe winning on this is Bandito. I don't think that's happening. I think it's Orange Cassidy.
Orange Cassidy's, record-long reign that people have loved ending in a battle royal would be the funniest thing of all time.
Yeah.
That being said, it should not happen.
Should not happen.
I am very upset that this is the pay-per-view match.
Yeah. Now, it should be said, we've just sort of complained about like 4 matches in a row. Probably still gonna be good. Probably.
Yeah, I mean, well, no. I didn't really. So Jamie and Tony, I'm not complaining about that match. I'm excited if that match actually happened as is.
Yeah.
But I'm not confident it's going to.
Yeah. I agree. No, I agree.
The rest of the card I'm excited for. Oh God, I hope I might have hurt myself with that one.
AEW TNT title match and a ladder match. Wardlow versus Christian Cage. No, I'm glad, honestly, I am very glad that they reminded the audience and me specifically that Wardlow is a recent, last year, 2 years ago, whatever it was the face of the Revolution ladder match winner, which is what caused him to eventually go on and win the TNT title. I'm very happy that they reminded us of that because I fully forgot that he won that match. But reminding us of that here is a very good spot because now it made it more believable why Wardlow pitched a ladder match. Because he won one previously, which then allowed him to win the TNT title, which is the title getting defended here. Christian obviously is well documented for his history of ladder matches. So that all being said, this is a different kind of ladder match for Wardlow. Before, he's the big guy that can catch people and stuff and then eventually win the match. Now, but even that match, there was also Hobbs and Keith Lee, I think, as well. So it was a big boy match as well. But now we're talking like Wardlow and Christian Cage. Christian Cage can't probably bump around a lot like he used to do with ladder matches. Wardlow is not like a high flyer sort of thing. I suspect that we'll get sort of more. Suspect we'll get more of a Scott Hall, Razor Ramon, Shawn Michaels ladder match than a Lucha Brothers ladder match. But I think this should be good. I think they can construct a good match here. And yeah, I think it, the build sort of kind of is weird, but it makes sense in other ways if you remember things. So I don't know. I think that should be fine, should be good. But what do you think?
I think Christian Cage should win.
Ooh, spicy.
I think Christian Cage should win. I think Wardlow should be packed up and sent to
Collision.
Sure. No, don't ruin Collision already.
Send him to Rampage.
He should be rebuilt. Yeah, there you go. He should go to the Rampage crew for now. Nothing about Wardlow does anything for me. And if this was to stupidly somehow get back to Wardlow and Powerhouse Hobbs, I'd lose my freaking mind. I don't want to keep running back the same 3 feuds for this title. Listen, when this title got great again? When we had the King of Television as TNT champion. When it got great again? When Darby Allin was holding this title. And then it all went to shit when Wardlow got it. Because then we had to have Powerhouse Hobbs on QTV for some reason, and that stunk. Anyone that didn't think that stunk is lying to themselves, by the way. That was never good. It was awful. Yeah, was I happy Powerhouse Hobbs finally won a title? Absolutely. But did they ruin that within a week? Absolutely.
Well, somewhat almost instantly because QT also helped Wardlow, helped Will Hobbs win.
I don't know why this title is like just it's so galaxy brain type shit for Tony Khan where he just kind of loses his mind booking. But it's just what happens. Last year, was it last year with Scorpio Sky and Sammy Guevara?
Probably, but yes.
Maybe. That's probably last year. Remember that?
I can look
that stunk. It was. We had last year was Frankie Kazarian, Sammy Guevara, Ty Conchi against Ethan Page, Scorpio Sky, and Paige Van Zandt.
Oh, so it wasn't even the title match. It was.
Yeah, but that was
a big schmaz.
During the rest of Scorpio Sky's reign, they wouldn't be able to challenge for the title anymore. God, that stunk. We haven't got to that bad yet. But I don't know. Wardlow as champion could get me pretty close. I just have Christian Cage win.
That could be interesting. That could be
heel
interesting.
mid-card champion that's actually booked correctly wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah. And maybe, that could eventually tie off into a Christian Cage Jungle Boy gimmick again. You can get Jungle Boy a TNT title reign.
I think Jungle Boy is turning heel.
I think he is as well. I have a feeling. I have a feeling there's going to be a heel turn, and I don't think it's Sammy Guevara.
Oh no, he already has his babyface turn officially.
Yeah, but we'll get to that match in a bit. AEW World Tag Team Title match with special guest referee Mark Briscoe. The FTR is going to defend their titles against Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett. I don't think Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett are going to win here. I think it's going to be an old school tag team wrestling match. There's going to be a dusty finish again, and Jeff Jarrett's going to get another shot of selling him winning the title despite not actually winning the title. And it'd be sold so well. I would love it. And then Mark Briscoe's yelling at him, no, you didn't win it. And then something else is going to happen. And then, I thought the Goho angle, the Dax Harwood promo was a little weird, but otherwise Mark Briscoe saved it. I think they did a good job of establishing the line of where Mark Briscoe is sitting between all of these individuals, and then him going up the ramp, pushing several people out of the way, just whapping Jeff Jarrett in the face was hilarious. I think this match will be good. I don't expect FTR to lose here, and I don't know. I don't think they're going to turn Mark Briscoe heel. I think he is ultimately going to side with the faces after Jay Lethal does something that Mark Briscoe doesn't like, hurt his friendship, and then they can spin off into a feud or something on Ring of Honor. What do you think about this match?
People are going to think I hate AEW by the end of this preview. Why is this a pay-per-view match? I've seen Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal challenge for these titles so many times.
It's only been two times, right? 2 or 3?
In like the past 4 months.
Yeah, that part's true. that part's probably true.
It doesn't do much for me, but you know what? It is what it is. I think the match will be good. And ultimately, I'm not buying this pay-per-view for these matches. I'm buying it for one specific match. So it almost doesn't matter. I just hope that FTR can get their heads back on straight, because I'm kind of getting sick of this thing that they're doing. It's frustrating where it's like we're kind of babyface, but we're also kind of heels because Dak can't shut up. I want to get away from that and just kind of get back to the FTR that was great last year, and that was it. That's the FTR I like. I don't like this meta mindset FTR. Well, I think that stinks.
I think part of that is that I think FTR is still trying to do their gimmick from last year, their babyface sort of ideas last year.
Yeah.
The problem is I think the FTR talking with Dax podcast has soured Dax Harwood so much in the eyes of hardcore fans that it has hurt their babyface stuff. So they can't do what they've been doing anymore because it got hurt. Dax kind of ruined their shine that they were getting. Now they need to do something else. They could turn heel here, but that would be turning Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal maybe face, and that would be dumb. So yeah, I think they're just in a situation where they're going to keep trying and make things good. But ultimately they've soured a lot of stuff with the fans. And until that is fixed, they're going to be in this sort of limbo position. Sounds like a friend of theirs. So I think they'll figure it out. Maybe we'll see what happens with them. I've heard stuff about Collision where like some people are getting like gimmick changes and changing up the characters a little bit. Maybe that happens with FTR of Collision. Who knows? We'll find out this pay-per-view. Find out June 17th.
Well, I know who should beat them. And they just signed.
Yeah. I
wouldn't wait that long either.
I agree.
I'd book that for All In, All Out, whatever one you prefer.
You can do that Forbidden Door easily if it depends on how long.
I'm guessing Mark's not back by then.
Yeah, because that's what, 4 weeks away at this point?
Yeah, we're going to get a House of Torture versus the champions, remember?
I would love that, honestly.
That'd be fucking awesome. I really want House of Torture on this year's Forbidden Door pay-per-view just because, like, the fans would boo, and it would work perfectly because I don't think people realize that the point of House of Torture is to be booed out of the building.
Yeah.
I think it'd be pretty fun.
You know what?
FTR versus
House of Yujiro. God, trying to work Yujiro. You know what I legitimately think? It should not be Yujiro.
You like watching Jeff Jarrett.
Well, that's what I was about to say. We should do Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal versus Evil and Yujiro. We need to do that as a team. That for the tag titles. Now we're cooking. Now we're cooking, baby. That's what we gotta do. That's what we gotta do for the tag titles. Oh man. And then it ends in a double DQ. And then no one wins the titles. Whoo, that should be good. That would be great. I would pay money for that. Tony Khan. I would pay money for that. Speaking about a match that people aren't necessarily paying money for, AEW World Title match. MJF defending his title, of course, versus Sammy Guevara, Jack Perry, and Darby Allin. It's the 4 pillars in a 4-way for the AEW World Title, and a feud that was built around the idea of I want to be the face of the company, kind of. I don't know. It's kind of been people have lambasted this feud the entire way. So I don't know what more we can say about it beyond that. Hasn't been good. It's been
plenty about it, buddy.
It's been a lot of promo time, and that makes MJF shine, but it did not make anyone else shine. It should have just been everyone wrestling, and we got some of that, and when they wrestled, it was good, but all the promo stuff has hurt them severely. Jack Perry looks less of a star than he did before. Even then, didn't look much to me. Sammy Guevara's flip-flopping all over the place on the heel-face dynamic. He has the promos of a babyface, the face of a heel. Darby Allin has looked a little bit better coming out of it.
I think so too.
I think his promos, like he showcased that, would come and look a little bit better. And MJF, I think, has looked the same. So this match, as everyone's been saying, this match is going to kill it. This match is going to be fantastic. But this build has ultimately sucked the entire way through.
It's time to accept that the MJF World Title run has been kind of bad.
Yeah.
Not really that good. Everything besides the match.
Because
it's really weird.
Yeah. It has been really weird.
Because what MJF before the title reign was most known for was the non-ring stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're sitting here and we're watching these feuds unfold. And Cassidy Haynes of Bodyslam.net said that it's actually MJF that's been writing this feud.
Yeah, which makes sense. It's a lot of promo time.
Absolutely makes sense. And it's just like, what happened? How did you go from being the guy on the mic that, can build these epic stories, and maybe the match doesn't ultimately pay it off like we want to now it's being the other way around, where the match is, I think, elevating feuds to a better spot than people remember. The Bryan Danielson feud wasn't all that good, but people walked away from that match absolutely adoring it, obviously, and it changed the way they looked at it and the way they looked at the feud. this has a chance to do that again because I do think the Fatal 4-Way will be good.
Mm-hmm. I think it'll be
But
great.
I'm not.
I think it'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, it's 4 great. Listen, as many critiques as I may have for Sammy Guevara or Jack Perry, the one thing they do really well is the in-ring stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I will say, when the show on Wednesday, when the show was happening and him and Darby were in the ring, MJF and Darby, I was like, why isn't this just the world title match?
Yeah.
This is the actual feud. The other two guys feel like they stick out like sore thumbs. Like, feel the energy with these two in the ring. There's something there, obviously.
Mhm.
They could have worked to that headlock takeover, which they're obviously already working to now.
Mm-hmm.
They already have started to do that. And I'm just thinking in my head, why didn't they just go with this? I understand they want to do the 4 pillars 4-way. It's something that, they've wanted to do. But 2 of the guys just weren't ready. And they haven't been ready, and they're never going to be ready. That's just the reality now. I don't think Sammy Guevara is going to be ready for being a world champion ever.
Yeah.
And I think Jack Perry, unless something drastically happens to his character, isn't going to be either.
I think that this feud has proven to me that Sammy Guevara and Jack Perry are mid-carders. And
Absolutely.
Unless something drastically happens, they bulk up immensely, or they get way better at promos, which they've been working on for 4 years and they haven't quite gotten there. I think they're mid-carders. They're nothing. Yeah. They're not main eventers. They're not world title contenders. Darby, there's something there. Now, I think that Darby talking about climbing Mount Everest and writing his will on Tuesday or whatever is signaling to me that he's not winning the title. But we'll see. But I don't think MJF is losing here per se. But I think Darby is the only option to really win the title.
I think that brings up an interesting point then. Let's think of the actual possibilities to take the title from MJF.
In terms of not these guys?
I think Darby is in the ballpark to do it, but not in this match.
Yeah.
It would have to be a singles match. I wouldn't want MJF to lose the title to Fatal 4-Way.
Yeah, I think you can use this match to establish more story for a Darby MJF match where they can eventually go on to All Out or whatever. Maybe because we also know that Adam Cole's around the corner. Full gear. They can go on the full gear and have a world title match there.
So to me, I think it's Adam Cole, babyface Adam Cole, obviously.
Yeah.
Darby and Hangman. I think that's all you have.
I would say
as potential people.
I would say Punk as well.
Well, yeah, I guess. But based off how the first 2 reigns went, I wouldn't probably put the title back on him.
I agree.
Because his body is obviously a little bit broken down.
Not
because I wouldn't love to see Punk as an actual world champion and get that reign. I would have loved to.
Yeah.
But it's just, fool me once, shame on me.
Yeah.
There's an eventual level there where it's like, it's
not worth it. It's not worth it.
So I think those are the only 3 options that make sense right now, unless someone just becomes a red hot babyface over the next couple months. Because I don't think Kenny's winning the world title.
No, I think Kenny's done. I think Kenny's done. He's not winning the world title again, unless AEW drastically needs to do something like that.
It's sad because
Will Ospreay. What about Will Ospreay?
No. Beating MJF, no.
It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right.
No. Maybe in a year's time, not beating MJF though. Beating someone to be world champion.
Beating Adam Cole.
If Adam Cole's that champion for that long, Jesus.
So we're pitching that Adam Cole wins in what, possibly August, and he has the championship until.
Yeah, I guess it's not bad then.
Till probably, I guess, May of the next year.
Yeah, that's not bad.
That's not too bad. Anyways, the match is gonna be great. The feud's bad. We'll see what happens. Anarchy in the Arena, the match that honestly should be the main event, but Tony Khan's only arguing the 4-way is the main event, which I think is bad. Anarchy in the Arena, this match should be great.
Some people should just book like WWE and say we have triple main events.
Every match is a main event on this card. Pay-per-view worthy, 19 matches. Enter the arena. The Elite, Adam Page, Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks versus Blackpool Combat Club, Bryan Danielson, Claudio Castagnoli, Jon Moxley, and Wheeler Yuta. This match was great last year. Caused a couple injuries, but it doesn't matter because the match was fantastic. Amazing visuals, amazing moments, and they got a lot to live up to. But I think if you're going to have anyone live up to it, it's going to be these guys.
I'm going to say it right now. This is going to be better than last year. Full confidence. The feud's better. The wrestlers are better. The story's exciting. Everything about it. It is the hottest feud coming into the show, and it's not close. I think Jericho and Adam Cole has been really good, but they're still not even close to this feud.
Yeah.
This is the match of the night. Whether you start the show or end it with the show, no one's topping it.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. I'm happy they changed Stadium Stampede to Anarchy in the Arena. Now, will I be tired of it once this one's over? We're going to have to wait and see. Because I think there's always that possibility. By the way, fun little trivia question for you. Do you know who wrestled in the second Stadium Stampede?
Was that a Stadium Stampede or was that an Anarchy in the Arena?
Stadium Stampede.
I don't know, would it Inner Circle, I would assume at that point was it still Inner Circle?
Mm-hmm.
And then
I can't remember the other team.
I believe it was would have been the Pinnacle, because they would have been Sammy Guevara and MJF feuding.
That sounds right.
And then Jake Hager and Wardlow
in the MMA ring.
Yeah,
yeah. I think you might be right.
I think it was them. I believe it was them because that makes sense because it was near the end of Daly's place and they were feuding.
I couldn't think of it the other day, and I was like, "Well, I didn't like it anyway." So
well, you're asking trivia questions to a Freakazoid here, so
this is true. Anyways, I'll take over from the Freakazoid. Sorry, folks.
Sorry to subject you guys to the Freakazoid.
I do think that the match is going to be fantastic. It should main event. You have 8 of the best wrestlers in the world. Like what else do you want? Okay, 7 and Wheeler Yuta. But like you get my point. Wheeler Yuta's still good.
Yeah. Being the low man of this match is still great.
Yeah, I mean the low man of last year's match was a lot different. So like if Wheeler Yuta is your low man, then you're in for something. You're in for something special, and I wonder what the focuses are going to be, right? Because last year going into it, it felt like it was going to be Kingston and Jericho, and ended up being Jericho and Danielson by the end. This year you would think it would be Kenny and Danielson. But there's no surefire there. Moxley and Omega can obviously lock up.
You also have to remember that there is a good chance that this is going to, like the second Stadium Stampede, if I remember, like the second Stadium Stampede with Inner Circle versus the Pinnacle, like the first Anarchy of the Arena versus JAS versus BCC and friends at that point. This is probably going to start a feud that will continue, that will continue throughout the summer and end at Blood and Guts.
I don't want Blood and Guts back. I'm sick of War Games.
That's fair. But you're talking like you said, Omega Danielson you can spin out of here. Omega Absolutely. Claudio you can spin out of here. The Young Bucks versus Moxley and Danielson. Young Bucks versus Claudio and Yuta. There's a lot of things you can spin out of here.
My one problem with that is we have Forbidden Door next. We have to spin Ospreay and Omega out of this. We have to spin.
Well, Don Callis is part of this feud.
Yeah, we're still waiting for the Don Callis aspect to come back into play. We're gonna have to spin, probably Sabre Jr. and Danielson out of this. We're going to have to also spin Moxley and Okada out of this. That's very apparent by now that's what we're spinning out of this. That's the only problem with these things, because last year it was like Forbidden Door, Blood and Guts 2 weeks later. And I was like, just why can we have like what? That's the one problem with Forbidden Door. It's like there's going to be so much ongoing, and these two factions obviously aren't going to stop in Anarchy in the Arena. You're absolutely right. We're going towards Blood and Guts.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure it all has time, because last time when we did Blood and Guts, it was literally like 1 or 2 weeks after Forbidden Door.
June 29th. What sounds like it was the Wednesday after.
Followed. Yes.
Yeah.
Which was bad. I did not like that we were just going right into that.
Yeah.
You need to be able to build Forbidden Door correctly, and you need to be able to build Blood and Guts correctly.
Agreed.
Don't do it right after. I don't think they will. But
and I don't think they'll. I think at this point, if this feud is going to continue up until Blood and Guts, I think they could easily. I think they have an easy path to spin off Ospreay versus Omega, assuming that's happening at Forbidden Door. With the
poster tells you it's happening at Forbidden Door.
Good point. But they have the Don Callis stuff. The Zack Sabre Jr. thing, I think you could argue that is just Bryan Danielson training to be better or whatever.
Absolutely.
But I think you could also, in theory, save that for Wembley as well.
I
don't know if they'll do that. I think they should do it for Forbidden Door as well.
Saving that for Wembley.
Yeah, but my point is that that would not have to spin off in any capacity with this feud, and by that point, Blood and Guts would be long over. So you can easily do Zack Sabre Jr. versus Danielson at Wembley.
Yeah. I'm going to confidently say I don't think that's going to be Wembley. That will be Forbidden Door.
That's fair. That's fair.
And that's true, because it was supposed to be last year too.
Yeah.
Right. So that's pretty much how you can work it. It's just the fact that like you're going to have to then come back to Blackpool Combat Club and the Elite after the fact. But for now, it's okay. I guess we can. I like the idea of just kind of pushing Grievances aside for a second, and then maybe coming back to it. The other problem that I just remembered of why I didn't like Blood and Guts following Forbidden Door is that the show closing angle of Forbidden Door was JAS and the Blackpool Combat Club fighting at the end of the show after Moxley beat Tanahashi. And I was like, why? Why would you do that? Like, that doesn't even make sense to end the New Japan AEW show. Yeah. So I guess that's the one thing I'm hoping for. That being said, this match is going to be phenomenal. And I mean, for the feud to continue, Blackpool Combat Club I think they might have to lose.
Yeah, I mean,
for the feud to make sense going forward.
Inner Circle won the first one, or that led to Blood and Guts.
Sure.
Which they were the faces at the time. And then the other one, the faces. Yeah, they were against the Pinnacle.
Moxley and Danielson. Oh, sorry, that's Stadium Stampede.
Yeah, I'm talking about the second Stadium Stampede that led to Blood and Guts. Yeah, they were.
No, you're right.
And then JS, I believe, lost the second one, right?
No, JS won last year.
Oh, so they won last year. Oh, so it's been 1-1 with heel and faces.
Yeah.
So it's a toss-up. It's been built well in that sense. It's a toss-up. I have no idea who could win that. It doesn't really matter, it seems like.
I guess in my head, like with Blackpool Combat Club, they would be more willing to continue the feud if they lost. Because like if the Elite lost, it'd be like, all right, cool.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the ceiling is 5 stars, so I'm excited. You know?
Yeah, I've heard some people say it's almost like it has to be.
It almost has to be.
Just because of who's involved and how good last year's was.
And how good the first Stadium Stampede was, too. I thought that was loads of fun. And that, that's
the first one with no Jericho.
Yeah. And instead, he gets the unsanctioned match with Adam Cole. So he's still going to be doing Plunger today. But yeah, so we're going to review that show only on Patreon, folks. So the patreon.com/countoutpod is where you can find it. If you subscribe to the $1 tier or the $5 tier, you can listen to the show on as we review it live immediately after Double or Nothing.
And Ryan will get it up someday.
And I'll get it up someday. Again, you can listen to it on the $5 or $1 tier on patreon.com/countoutpod. Join the conversation with us. Give us your thoughts as we review it live. Scotty, you have a thing?
Here's how I sell it. It's the only way to see us do it live while we're both tired and exhausted, while also going through the rampage of a press conference with the notes that come from that.
Yeah, so, which are always fun. Which are always fun to be like, what the fuck? As in the middle of reviewing something.
Still was wild.
Yeah.
I just remember like doing that live real time. I don't know how many other people did like live reviews for that, but I just vividly remember like he just pretty much called out Hangman.
Yeah.
Oh shit, he's calling out the Young Bucks. What is happening?
Yeah, that was, as it unfolded, insane. But yes, patreon.com/countoutpod. $1 tier, $5 tier, doesn't matter. As long as you subscribe to patreon.com/countoutpod, you will be able to hear and be a part of the show live. So we hope to see you there. Next up on the show, Best of Super Juniors. Let's talk about this, review some of these matches since they're the more recent matches, and then we'll talk about the finals that are happening on Sunday as well. So
Gato is out of his fucking mind.
Gato is out of his freaking gourd. So night 9 and night 10 happened this past week. That was the Block A and Block B finals. The Block A finals had Taguchi defeat Kushida in Taguchi's first win of the tournament, Sho defeating Doki, Mike Bailey defeating Lio Rush, knocking Lio Rush out, and Titan defeating Hiromu Takahashi in a shock win that allowed Mike Bailey and Titan to go on to the semifinals. What did you think of those 4 matches?
I thought Lio Rush versus Speedball was phenomenal.
Yeah,
everything I wanted it to be. I don't really remember the rest of the other matches. I just remember that one.
I thought Titan Hiromu was a really good match. Yeah, that the shock was very surprising. Mike Bailey and Lio Rush. Was that my match of the tournament? It was up there. It was up there.
It is my match of the tournament. It just clipped Akira and Desperado.
Yeah, I think it clipped. I think I liked Akira Desperado more, but I'm also thinking about Titan Despi from today, and that match was great.
Match was great.
So I got to think about it for a little bit. But I thought Mike Bailey and Lio Rush. So I said before, very early on, that I was super down comparatively. Still thought it was very good, but I was super down on the Hiromu Mike Bailey match from the first night.
Sure.
The Mike Bailey Lio Rush match was exactly what I wanted the Hiromu match to be. And I thought Lio Rush was firing all cylinders. I'm super high on Lio Rush right now. I'm super down on Hiromu. So I can totally see why I thought this match was better, even if they were similar, but doesn't matter. I thought this match was fantastic. Lio Rush has been killing it, like I said. Mike Bailey, everything was smooth as silk here. Just fucking killed it. And then the other match I thought was interesting was just Taguchi defeating Kushida. I just want to point that out as funny because Taguchi wrestles normal the entire tournament. And the only win he gets is when he accidentally uses his butt to get the win. I thought that was funny. I thought that was a nice sort of cherry on top for Taguchi. If this was his last Best of Super Juniors, it completely makes sense. Him beating Kushida I thought was interesting, but it's Kushida, who cares? But yeah, I thought that was just hilarious for Taguchi to go out that way. And I hope that's the end. And I hope that's the end of Taguchi and Best of Super Juniors. But yeah, I thought this night was pretty good.
Yeah, I think Taguchi is definitely done now. And it was a good way for him to get sent off. My one sadness was that Lio Rush didn't make it to the semifinals just because of personal preference, but him and Speedball killed it that I didn't care.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't care. That's fine.
He went out swinging.
Yeah, and I think he's gonna need to have a run. Like we talked about earlier with the not having international stars, the junior divisions where all the international talent is right now. Like the Lio Rush. Hey, I'll say it. I mean, I think Speedball's at least lit a fire under him that's a lot different from what I've seen over the past year or so in the indies. He's matching the physicality, I think, which is helpful.
Yes.
In a New Japan ring, like his kicks are hitting harder.
He's leveled up a little bit.
Yeah, it's not just, the same match every single time. Obviously, he hits the same moves, but this is wrestling. They all hit the same moves. Right? Like that's what the point of wrestling is.
Yeah.
I think this gave him a new life, and I'm kind of hopeful that he just does New Japan moving forward. I know he's not going to,
Yeah.
but just based off where they placed him, it wouldn't be too shocking if he's back sooner rather than later.
And I completely agree with that. Like going through like his first match to his last match, like I said in my review about Mike Bailey Hiromu that I was getting tired of seeing Mike Bailey because he was just doing the same stuff all the time, and I've seen like a billion Mike Bailey matches at this point across last year and already of this year. So it's like I'm seeing the same stuff. I don't really care about it. It does feel like he has leveled up in intensity and stiffness, and he's just sort of gotten more into the New Japan style as the tournament has gone on, to the point where his last two matches, his Leo Rush match was fantastic, and his Master Wada match, which we'll get to, was hard hitting as hell. And I really thought that was really, really
Best
good.
Master Wada match I've ever seen.
It was the best Master Wada match I've ever seen. And I thought that was great. So I think like you're right in saying that, like, and I completely agree with you that there is an element where Mike Bailey has been building to a even better wrestler, and I hope he brings back to Impact, because Impact could use it. Any other thoughts on that night?
He brings back to Impact. Oh, what a sad reality. No, I'm good.
Night 10 featured Block B matches. Bushi defeats Francisco Akira. Dan Maloney defeats Clark Connors by countout. Master Wato defeats Kevin Knight. Yoshinobu, and sort of not really a shock, but just sort of like, man, Master Wato is really winning a lot of these. Yoshinobu Kanemaru defeats Yo, which was a sort of a upset, knocked Yo out of the tournament. And then El Desperado defeats Robbie Eagles to knock Eagles out of the tournament. And the semifinals moving forward was Wato and Despy.
This tournament was the most I ever liked Robbie Eagles. I think the TMDK-ness of his new style, which is just, a little edgier, a little more intense, is what I needed to see out of him, because obviously he does all the technical stuff great, but I don't know, it just felt like the perfect combination for him now to really go out and kill it. I thought he had a great tournament. I loved him and Desperado. I love everything Desperado, essentially. If you haven't figured out, like, I think devastated this guy isn't winning the tournament now. But I thought this was a good night as well. Not as good as the previous night, but a good night nonetheless.
Yeah, I thought this was another very good night.
It was a one-match show for me.
I thought Yoshinobu Kanemaru and Yo was pretty good.
It was good.
I thought
good, not great.
I thought Dan Maloney throwing a bunch of benches and crap at Clark Connors was hilarious and awesome. And that was the kind of Dan Maloney I wanted all tournament, but it's a little too late. Dan
Baloney.
Dan Baloney. Yeah, it was kind of a one-match show. I thought the Kanemaru Yo was pretty good. I don't remember anything else about Bushi Akira or Wato and Kevin Knight. I will shout out this match. I told you I was going to watch it when we were looking at the card.
Oh, yeah.
Off mic. Mike Bailey and Oscar Lube defeats Leo Rush and Yota Nakashima. I went 3 1/4 on this for a match that features two young lions. This match ruled, dude. Oscar Lube, he's got something. Yuto Nakashima, I think he's good, but I was really impressed by Oscar Lube, and that was also just more Mike Bailey and Leo Rush interactions. Yeah. So I was like, this match rules. That definitely go check out that match if you missed it.
I thought that showed up teamed with all the young lions today against Okada, Ishii, and Tanahashi. I was like, I like this. I like that they're just kind of making this how we're gonna get there.
Well, let's get to it, because night 11, I watched that match as well, with the semifinal matches of Wato defeating Mike Bailey and Titan defeating El Desperado. So continuing that thought, Okada and Ishii and Tanahashi defeated Oleg Boltin. I thought it was Boltin Oleg. Oleg Boltin.
Boltin Oleg and Lube.
And Oscar Lube and Shota Umino. Match was good. It was more continuing the Shota Umino Okada thing. They started out. It's sort of drawing on the Kaito Kiyomiya stuff with Shota. where like Okada's just like futzing about with him. There was a moment at the end of their first exchange, Okada and Shota Umino. You know, Okada wins the first exchange. At the very end of it, he just, while Shota Umino's down, lifts his head up and then throws it back down to the ground. Just be like, all right, one more. And then tags out. So I thought that was good. After the match, Shota and Okada, you know, forehead to forehead, a lot of intensity. Okada at one point bowling balled Shota through a bunch of chairs, and he was out of the match. Oscar Lube and Bolton Oleg Bolton looked pretty good. I think Oscar Lube looks really good. They made a note on commentary that I fully agree with, which is that he's gotten into his size a lot more, his 6'7" size. Sure. Oleg Bolton, he still has a little ways to go.
He's gonna be nasty.
Yeah, he still has ways to go. He's basically
why does it say Oleg Bolton? His name's Bolton Oleg.
I don't know. That's what I keep getting confused about. So Bolton,
like, I know why you're saying it that way, but I'm pretty sure Kevin Kelly called him Bolton.
That's what I thought. Either way, Bolton, I think, still has ways to go. He's still very green.
He's gonna be incredible.
He has something to him, and I like, and he really partnered up with Ishii here, which was good to see. And if they can make Bolton like the next Ishii-esque character, I think that would be great. It's just he still has ways to go. He's still very green.
He's got like, I might say this and people might freak out, but he has like this Lesnar type background.
Yeah, amateur wrestling style. Yeah.
With the New Japan dojo training, could make him very special. Agreed. Obviously, we're gonna have to wait and see. He just got into the dojo, so I'm not really expecting him to be the product that all the others are already. Right, like Nakashima and Fujita and
Lube even.
Lube's and that's probably the best comparison though, right? Lube's already where he is, and so much time. I think Oleg will get there too. Oleg might be the best protecting young lion I've ever seen. Like when people are doing dives to the outside, that massive man is like, I got you.
Yeah. I
was like, oh well, that's a good thing to learn. But I'm excited for all the young lions. I think this might be their best crop. And that's coming off of their best crop.
Which was, of course, coming off of their best crop. Which is, of course, coming off of their best crop. Every crop they have is the best crop.
I mean, well, they're coming off of Tsuji, Narita, Umino, and Uemura. But like, hey, dog, stop. Fujita, Nakashima, Oiwa,
Lube.
Like,
your dog's a freaking dog.
But yeah, that's about where I am. Sorry, I knew dog was gonna bark. I was ready for it.
I think they still have, all of them still have a little bit more ways to go.
Absolutely,
but they have gotten really good in the short amount of time that they have, and a lot of that helps with also is like they're also like working like All Japan like constantly.
Sure,
and so they're just getting more experience from like different groups of guys. Which they are also getting more experience by working different groups of guys. So it's working all around for them.
Yeah, none of them are Yuma Anzai, but like
sure,
they can all be special. I think.
Yeah, and I think
most of them. They need junior ones.
Yeah, Oscar Lube is not a junior. Bolton's not a junior. Nakashima's not really a junior, and I don't remember what the other guys look like. Oh, Oiwa is probably a junior.
Yeah, I think so.
Oiwa, Fujita, Kosei Fujita is definitely a junior.
The one with TMDK?
Yeah. I forget what Oiwa looks like.
They'll lie if they want. If they think he's a big star, they'll lie.
That's true.
They lie. They lie with Ren Narita.
They lied with Zack Sabre.
Ren Narita's a little bigger now.
They lied with Zack Sabre Jr. He was definitely junior, but they were like, oh yeah, he works like a heavyweight.
He even has it in his name.
Semifinal matches, Master Wato defeats Mike Bailey and Teton defeats El Desperado. We already sort of said it. Best match in Master Wato's career. No doubt.
Unquestioned.
You and I had the exact same ratings for both these matches. I believe we both gave Wato Mike Bailey 4 and Teton Despi 4 1/4. What did you think of both these matches?
It exactly what the semifinals should be.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly what they should be. Actually, I slightly liked Watto and Bailey a little more, so it was, I think we just had it opposite.
Oh, I might have read it wrong then.
Doesn't matter. They were both great.
Yeah.
I think the intent, like the back and forth between Bailey and Watto and the crowd's energy with it was awesome. And I was just amazed because I didn't even think Watto had like a standout match this entire tournament. And I was like, he had good matches, nothing bad, which again, an improvement for Master Watto. And I said at the beginning of this year, I think he's gonna get there. This match, I was like, all right, he might be finally there. And this was at the time me thinking he's going to have a final with El Desperado. Because I was like, that will be the ultimate challenge, right? Him and Desperado in the final is going to be great.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then Teton won.
And then my boy Teton. Woo! Scotty leaves the chat. I love that Teton got a win. And not only did I love that Teton got the win, it was another shock win. Him beating Hiromu and then him beating Despy. I mean, talk about a push, folks. That is a push of a push. Teton is going to the finals against Watto, and I have never been unsure of who's going to win this match. I don't know if they've... So Watto has a great match, of course, here. I don't know if, for me personally, he's fully gotten rid of the... the sock smell of Master Watto, the smell that Yoshihashi had for a very long time. Yeah. I don't know if it's quite gone there yet, but it's, for the most part, like it's pretty much washed all the way, done.
Believe in the Grandmaster, baby.
But does he beat Teton, a guy that they just had beat the champion Hiromu and Despy, two of their biggest stars in the company, back to back, both with the same move? I don't know. I mean, Teton's getting a challenge out of it, beating Hiromu, but will that challenge happen at Dominion? I don't know.
I think Watto wins because I think Gato is going all in on the craziness at the second biggest show of the year, mind you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Let's have Yota Tsuji, guy that hasn't wrestled in New Japan since his Young Lion days, and he doesn't look like he's going to be until that match. Let's have him main event the show, and let's put Master Watto against Hiromu. That seems like, I think, where we're going. Teton, to me, this was the tournament to make him their new Dragon League. Officially.
Interesting.
Finally replace him.
Yeah.
With Teton. Because I think he needed a tournament where he established himself. Because obviously we both agree Teton's great.
Yeah.
That was never a question. It's now in the standing in the promotion. And him beating Hiromu and Desperado back to back, that's just as important as winning a tournament in a lot of ways. So I'm excited. I'm excited for Teton and what his future holds. I mean, he had two great performances back to back. Him winning with that submission,
the Muda lock.
Yeah, the Muda lock. It's obviously a shock. I was devastated when Desperado lost because I really thought Desperado was winning this tournament. But at the same time, I'm happy for Teton. And I think the idea of Watto versus Teton as a final is weird, but also interesting.
Yeah,
because
it's something new. We're pushing new stars, baby.
Yeah, and it's gonna be like, I think it'll be good because they're both kind of crazy. Like, that's the one thing I'll give credit to Master Watto. He's insane.
And Teton did a fucking dive off the balcony today.
He did a dive off the balcony and then did a foot stomp to the floor.
And it looked like his knees shattered. And he still wrestled.
Yeah, this guy's awesome. If Teton won, I wouldn't be upset, but I do think Watto's walking away on Sunday as the winner.
I think there's a chance Teton wins. And I the only reason I think that is I like Teton more, number one.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's probably because you like him more.
Number two, there's something interesting about Teton beating Hiromu, another LIJ guy. And then you also have Yota Tsuji in the main event, a guy that when he came out did the LIJ hand signal. There's something, and like, remember how like Teton basically forced himself into the group. There's something about that I think is interesting that I'm kind of looking in my eyes at about like, and you also mentioned like the new Dragon Lee. A big part of Dragon Lee is feuding with Hiromu. There's something here that I want to explore more, and Teton winning could help us get there.
I will say I thought Hiromu and Teton left a lot on the table in their match.
I could agree with that.
So that could play to it too. I'd be over the moon if Teton won. I'll say that right now. Like, I'd be so happy if this guy won.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to wait and see, obviously. I don't really know, and I think that's the exciting part of the final. They created a final. We have no idea who's winning.
That's what you want. That's what we want, baby. That's what I'm interested in.
I'm excited. It's so funny. Was it last week or the week before? We came on this show
2 weeks ago,
and we're like, Best of the Super Juniors is done. It's doomed. It's over.
We hand waved it so quickly.
And now we're sitting here excited and amped up about a final that features fucking Master Wato.
Yeah.
If you told me at the beginning when we were calling it off that Master Wato was the final, I would have been like, I told you this tournament's dead. Yeah. Now it's like, nah, this is good. This is good.
The two of them have done a good job getting pushed and working their ass off in the last half of this tournament. Wato was nowhere close to that for me at the beginning of this tournament, and he has gotten that way.
His German's great. Not whatever they call it. I just call it German suplex.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say the Wonderkind or whatever it's called.
He's gonna go for the RPP or whatever the hell it's called, and that's gonna decide if he wins or not. Like the move that he always misses, and Kevin Kelly is ashamed of him.
Is it he's gonna go for off the top rope one?
Yeah, he never hits it. He's gonna go for it, and that will be what decides his winning this match. And I think that's kind of cool that they have a move that's legitimately gonna decide.
I can't wait.
What happens?
I'll be on the lookout.
Excited.
I'll be on the lookout.
It's like the fifth thing that I'm most looking forward to this weekend, but it's pretty. It got higher. Going into it, I was like, it's fine. Now I'm hoping they put more on that show though than just the one match.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably some other ideas popping about. I wouldn't be surprised if we either get more Dominion announcements post Best of Super Juniors, probably on Monday.
They're doing Catch 2-2 and Jet Setters again at Dominion.
Sure, that makes sense.
I saw, which is cool with me.
They defeated each other, I believe, in the tournament, so it makes sense. Resurgence. Speaking of shows that happened on a Sunday, last Sunday was New Japan Strong's Resurgence in the Walter Pyramid in Long Beach, California. Show has gotten rave reviews. I think the card, for the most part, top down, was fantastic. So let's get into it. Of course, there was a buy-in with the DKC defeating Bateman, Alex Colligan defeating Christopher Daniels. They wrestled in front of nobody. And then the next matches. Should we just do vague thoughts? Let's just do vague thoughts so we have a little bit more time about this show.
Yeah,
so this is us a little
because the people want the Night of Champions.
Oh, we know what the people want. Give me.
It looks like a decent show. It's
yeah. Give me some vague thoughts. What are some vague thoughts you have about
Mercedes Moné is really good. That is all of my thoughts about this entire show.
Yeah.
That Mercedes Moné is on a different area code, different universe in terms of star power. Not just out of the women that were on this show, out of everyone. The only person that matched her on this show was Okada. That's it. It was Okada and Mercedes Moné. The crowd lost their minds for her every single time she showed up. And I just said, I can't believe people doubted this woman.
Yeah.
She is otherworldly in terms of star power, in terms of challenging herself. I thought her match with Willow was going to be great, and it was really good for what it was. I just am very upset that it ended the way it did.
Yeah.
Because of course she slipped off the top rope, gets hurt, and that sucks because now we have to wait longer for her to come back. Probably like 3 months or so, I'm guessing, if it's a broken ankle, like initially thought, which is not too long, but long enough.
But also smarter Mercedes knowing that she is probably gonna win. And this title was
winning.
She was winning.
I think Meltzer reported, and I quote, "This belt was made for her,"
Made-
as I said on this show.
Bell was made for her, so she was winning to go out there and make the last minute change of not only losing the match, and not only because hey, I'm gonna be out, I have my ankle's hurt, I'm gonna be out or something, but making the last minute call of not only I'm gonna lose the match, hit me with the power bomb again, and that's and pin me. Not a roll up or anything, a certified pin, automatically making Willow a bigger star. What a last minute call. And obviously the referee had to be told what to do and all that stuff. And that kind of finish sort of hurt the ending of this match. But, at the end of the day, it was the right call to make for business for wrestling.
I think I read that Dave said it was going to be a classic if she didn't get hurt. Like, they had the end closing stretch and all that built up that they just never got to do. And I think that's the shame of it, because I thought they worked really well together. And to go off of what you said of how, how smart she was to make the call, because they could have easily just had her win. Still, like, I know she could barely move, but she got the submission, and they could have just had Willow tap out there and then, and we could have called it a day. The fact that not only does she say, all right, let's lateral this to Willow winning, but I'm willing to lose to her. The same woman that right at the beginning of this whole New Japan run was like, oh, she's demanding too much money, blah, 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 blah. Now she's willing to just go out there and lose to Willow. No problem. And that's going to build for a bigger return match when she ultimately beats Willow for the belt. It's smart. It's smart, spur of the moment mindset booking. And I don't know how many other people can do that and be aware to do that, but I applaud both of them. And the moment for Willow, despite the shoddy finish, was still as great as I, would have thought if she got it in Ring of Honor or AEW.
Totally agree. I totally agree.
It's a different crowd too, which I think is interesting.
I am upset that Tony Khan did not do that in his own home promotion, but now you have a star made. And I think my upsetness about like Tony Khan not doing another promotion is just like another feather in the cap of my argument of, I don't know, an argument I had a couple weeks ago where it was like, I don't know. I'm starting to question the star making capabilities of Tony Khan because, we kind of talked about the 4 pillars and their biggest pillar is not selling tickets well. Orange Cassidy's another pillar, but he's not making tickets well, because he's co-headlining that right now. And the ratings are down, the tickets are down, and we're starting to build up new stars. Wardlow is kind of a flop. Jamie Hayter loses the title. That was her title thing. Willow's getting made in other companies. I'm starting to question the star-making capabilities of Tony Khan. And I'm not willing to say he's bad at it yet, but I'm just saying there's a lot of evidence where I'm like, I don't know, man.
Before I kind of use this question, I guess, to maybe transition, and it'll end up bring us to Night Champions, I will say that the trios match with Moxley, Okada, Shota, Wheeler, and Ishii and Rocky, was that the whole crew? I thought that was really good. Liked that a lot. I also thought Stephanie Vaquer showed out earlier in the night.
I thought she was fantastic. She will be signed by the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how anyone could not sign her. I think I kind of tried to prep people like, no, she's really good. Obviously, not everyone's seeing her in CMLL because truthfully, she doesn't have all the talent in the world to wrestle again, so it's not gonna jump out to you as much. But they were seamless in there. They had great chemistry. I was like, I need to see this again.
Yes,
as soon as possible. But my point on the star making ability, and I think this is interesting to bring up, and maybe this is kind of maybe our main final discussion point of the day. For the longest time, I feel, and I'm sure you remember this, how like people said WWE couldn't make stars or make superstars big time stars that bring people into the building.
There's stars and there's stars with a capital S.
Right.
And then there's stars, which is a faction in Stardom.
Yes, all caps. I think there was a truth to that for a long time because WWE went from this is our guy, this is our person to we are the brand and everyone's just here.
Yeah.
That being said, when you look at the star making abilities of what Tony Khan's trying to do so far, and you look at what WWE's created, right? With the likes of course, Roman Reigns, obviously, is the guy that jumps off the page. But even a Seth Rollins, who is a big star now, and people like that, I just asked, like, were we too hard on WWE making stars for the longest time? It's not easy, is my point. It is, but it isn't.
Yes.
You've got to capitalize.
Yes, that's fair.
And people don't capitalize all the time.
Well, that's another point, though, is that WWE, I don't think it's necessarily unfair to say that about WWE because I think Rollins, you're right, is at peak popularity right now, and he's a star, and they're about to...
And they're going to capitalize tomorrow.
I think they definitely should. They definitely should.
I hope they do.
Versus the guy who says this is a third-rate belt. Yeah, no, I think they should. Now, at the same breath, it's also, they bring in Cody Rhodes. He's a big star, but they kind of hurt his star-making stuff at WrestleMania. Yes. Sami Zayn, they stumbled upon a star and then hurt his stuff. Sure. As many times they create stars, they also stumble into stars, which happens in wrestling, but also shoot themselves in the foot constantly.
Yes.
So it's like, well, they get some praise, but they also get a lot of detractors because it's like, you keep fucking it up then.
I'm saying the criticisms are fair, but we're sitting here now talking Tony Khan, and he may not have one.
Well, the reason I'm not willing to say that Tony Khan's bad at it yet is that I don't necessarily know if I would say that Tony Khan has shot himself in the foot yet of making a star. I think he is.
Willow, yes.
Willow, I think he might have. I think it's all about the follow up of Willow, which we saw starting on Dynamite. Takeshita, he's sort of made into a star.
We're getting there.
We're getting there with him. I think Tony Khan is in the process of trying to make a lot of stars. I think Tony Khan is doing what Nick Khan did earlier, which is he's throwing spaghetti at the wall to see who sticks. Yeah. And I think the answer is that a lot of the people he first picked aren't sticking.
Yep.
And I think that's just it. And then what that tells me is, all right, I don't know how much longer you keep them in AEW, a lot of these people. Or, you move them back down the card, because you found where their ceiling was. You're trying to figure out where their ceiling is. And I think, that's what I'm saying. It's it's not bad. I don't think he shot himself necessarily in the foot. He didn't shoot himself in the foot by Willow because that was Mercedes' decision at the end of the day to make Willow a star. So yeah, that's the only defense I give Tony Khan as well.
I only say shot in the foot because that moment should have already happened by now.
And that's fair, and that's also fair. But the fact that it didn't, I'm not going to be well, he should have done it by now. But the fact that he has now inherited the star, it's about the follow up and what he does. Does he diminish it? To me, if he throws Willow to the side onto Ring of Honor and we never really see anything a good push out of her or anything, then I would say Tony Khan has shot himself in the foot and he did not capitalize on a star making performance. Or a result.
And that's to also say we're also in the midst of New Japan doing the ultimate to make multiple guys start at the same time.
Yeah.
Yota Tsuji, Master Wato, Shota Umino. I think Ren Narita's kind of taking a backseat, but I think Ren Narita still has to figure himself out.
And that's the other thing as well, is that AEW and New Japan are actively trying to make a bunch of people stars at the same time. Whereas WWE,
they have their stars.
They have their stars. Who are they actively trying to make new stars? Austin Theory?
I guess, yeah, and that's gonna be a fail. But I guess at least they're trying.
Yeah,
and that's where I do
Gunther. I'll say Gunther as well.
Yeah, Gunther's become a big one.
But Gunther was already a star when he got hired. To be fair,
he was a star. He was a star to us.
True.
But to the WWE audience, he's becoming a star. I guess
that's fair.
And that's where I give credit to Tony Khan too. He's trying, and he's really trying with this main event on Sunday.
Yeah.
But we've seen just by how they've done it that it's very clear at least two of them aren't.
I would say two of them. I'll add Wardlow. I'll add a couple other people maybe into that pot.
And we're still talking about the guy that we say is a star in MJF. He's not selling tickets.
Yeah. The only other bits I had from Resurgence was that I liked Virus and Zack Sabre Jr. tying up. I thought that was a fun little entrance. The Juice Robinson Fred Rosser thing was like wild and crazy fun. Wasn't a fan of the kiss, as everyone has sort of talked about.
Affect me.
That's fair.
I figured it was happening. So
no, yeah, I didn't like the kiss. I think it made sense in the context of like Fred is using Tony as a way to get Juice mad and angry.
Yeah.
And that was a way to do that. But him losing is also like, well, he immediately got his comeuppance and doing all the stuff. Yeah. I think the follow up with that is that Fred Rosser has to be a heel now. And I think that's
well, that is the funny thing. When this match ended, I was like, are Juice and Tony the baby face?
Yeah. After the match, I was like, I think Fred just turned heel. I think that's what just happened. And then Ian playing it up on commentary as well. Like, I'm not going to condone this. He's going to look back at this and say, I made a mistake. I think Fred needs to turn heel now. I
now need Juice and Tony together in AEW. I think, you don't really always want couples together on TV, obviously. Like, when they forced Adam Cole and Britt together, we're like, right? On AEW, and when they forced Seth and Becky together on WWE a few years ago, that stunk too.
Yeah.
But Juice and Tony work off each other really well. Agreed. And I was like, I would love to see that, because to me, I was always wondering what could make the rock hard Juice Robinson gimmick fully work. And I realized it in this match, it's Tony Storm.
Yeah.
Because there's, to me, the idea, and I think they can both be alphas, which is great too. Like, they can both just kind of lead the way for each other, rather than like, because I think sometimes when you have the relationship thing, like when we saw Becky and Seth, it was clearly, all right, Becky's the big star and Seth's, the little dog in the background who's just like, hi, I date her.
Yeah.
Now they're married, but you get my point. It's like, they can both kind of be top dogs together, and I think that would be more interesting than the Outcast stuff.
Yeah,
do love the Bang Bang Gang though, so maybe we just add Tony to the Bang Bang Gang.
I think you add Tony to the Bang Bang Gang, and I'm very glad. I'm very happy that you acknowledge that the way to make Juice Robinson more rock hard is by adding Tony Storm to the mix. I think that's a great point. That to make that Tony Storm is what makes Juice rock hard. I think that's the point we need to walk away from.
That's exactly what I'm saying. 100%. Because I think a lot of people were down on Juice when he came into AEW originally. Too soft. He wasn't rock hard.
Yeah.
But now
with Tony at the helm, with a hot girl Tony with his wife in his corner.
Now with Bang Bang Gang, him and Jay White together, and now with Tony Storm.
Yeah.
This is the rock hard Juice Robinson that we all wanted to see.
Yeah, I want to see Tony Storm join the Bang Bang Gang. That's what I want to see. Anyways, is there something about a threesome? Anyways, Night of Champions. Woo! Night of Champions. Let's quickly go through this card since we're already at the 2-hour mark. SmackDown Women's Title match: Rhea Ripley versus Natalya. The only thing really to be said here, it's one of...
I wanted to make a joke. Wait, let me make a joke.
We've been making serious jokes the entire time.
This is an important joke, though. The Saudi Arabia show has more women's matches on it than every AEW and WWE pay-per-view that happens here in the States. What the hell happened to wrestling?
I don't know. Now, on the other hand, one of the 3 women's matches you get is Rhea Ripley versus Natalya.
Well,
for Raw's SmackDown Women's title.
I squashed Italy here.
Yeah. So, this match is not going to be good.
I think it will be fine as long as they follow the Zelina Vega match method of she gets very little offense and then Rhea Ripley squashed her.
I thought you were going to say that Natalya comes out with like a Saudi Arabian flag. I was like, what?
No, I just meant the match structure, not the actual match itself.
Yeah, I just want to see Rhea Ripley in like bigger matches, and I think with Zelina Vega and Natalya, it's like did you guys have ideas? Did you guys have ideas for Rhea Ripley? I mean, what are we doing here?
Well, it's funny because Rhea Ripley feels like the biggest woman star in the company now, but they have yet to give her a feud that has anything to it. Like if you look
Yeah.
at the Raw roster, it's not great for the women's side of things. It's Becky,
Rhea,
and that's it
um,
in terms of main eventers.
and they're starting to build up Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley, but that feels like that's not till SummerSlam, and that's ways away. So
Right. They have Money in the Bank and then SummerSlam.
yeah. Rhea Ripley is going to retain. Raw Women's Title: Bianca Belair versus Asuka. Huh? It was kind of good.
I think.
Sorry, SmackDown's Raw Women's Title, I should say.
Yeah. Sorry. Raw's SmackDown's Raw's. Yeah. It's bad. It's bad. It's a bad precedent they've set with these titles. I think that Asuka should just win.
And beat Bianca?
Well, because at this point, like, we're never going to get a Bianca feud that actually feels worthy of Bianca losing. It's just not going to happen. That's been her entire title reign, if you paid attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she has yet to have one feud that's like, oh, that was great. You know, Io makes sense, but I think Io is going to have to be a babyface by then.
Yeah.
And then Bianca would have to turn heel. And I know there is a rumor going around that Bianca could be heel eventually.
That'd be a nice way to mix it up.
But I wouldn't see her doing it as champion.
That's true. Her losing and then becomes heel, that could be interesting.
Yeah. And I mean, if Asuka loses again, then we're back to where Asuka was before she came back.
Exactly. So maybe there's an argument that Asuka should win.
Like, I know it's a long title reign, but you know what? You already have another long title reign that you have a big build to someone winning. I know you're not going to have it for Bianca, so just screw it.
WWE Intercontinental title match. Gunther. I was about to say Gunther defeats Mustafa Ali. Gunther defeats Mustafa Ali. What more did we say than that?
I think you previewed it perfectly. Gunta.
Do you think this match is longer or shorter than 5 minutes?
If it's longer than 5 minutes, it's going to be really good.
Yeah.
That said, I don't think it's longer than 5 minutes.
Oof. Sorry, Ali. Sorry.
I mean, Gunther they're building to Gunther and Matt Riddle, which.
Sure.
Once upon a time, that was a great match, and I think Progress. I watched. It was like 10 minutes, and it was insane.
Yeah.
It's considered one of the best sub 10-minute matches of all time. That being said, I'm not excited for Matt Riddle in 2023. So, is what it is. But yeah, poor Mustafa.
I liked him at one point, and now he's just becoming a Ziggler.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good call. Tough life. Except he'll never get the world title.
Oof. He's tried. There was a point in time, but now the biggest supporter is in a different company. Trish Stratus versus Becky Lynch. Oh, we're gonna rock and roll. Point the sky. Yeah. Next match, Raw.
Trish is gonna have to wear more clothes in this match than she's worn her entire career. Becky should win, by the way.
Becky should win. Yeah.
This is how I preview this match.
Trish is now still injured, I presume.
I thought Lita was hurt.
No, I believe it was Trish that she said WrestleMania was injured. I'll double check that. But...
Oh, like an actual injury?
Yes, I believe it was Trish Stratus that said at WrestleMania that she was working injured.
Oh, well, either way, Trish versus Becky is the type of match where the idea of it is better than the match itself.
Yes, to confirm, at WrestleMania, Trish Stratus worked through a partially torn hamstring.
Ow! That's terrible.
Obviously, this is
she good?
It's a month and a half later. I don't know.
Why didn't they just save this for Money in the Bank or something?
I don't know.
Oh wait, because Saudi probably gave Trish a lot bigger money to wrestle on the show.
Exactly.
Never mind. Is it time for the triple main event?
Yes, it is time for the triple main event. Raw and SmackDown tag team title matches. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are defending their titles against Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa. Roman Reigns here. This is his 1,000th day as world champion. And he's wrestling in a tag team title match. Do you think he wins here? Or do you think the Usos are going to turn on the bloodline and not really side with Owens and Zayn? Don't really sure how that's going to be. Or the Usos going to help Roman and Solo win the tag team titles?
I've landed at there's a middle ground in that the Usos cost Roman and Solo. They're going to act like it was an accident, but it was on purpose. If that makes sense.
Interesting.
The type of wink, wink, nudge, nudge, like they're going to turn to the camera and you're going to have like Jey Uso winking to the camera, but not actually. I think that's more interesting to me than them just accidentally doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's more interesting to me than just doing the straight up turn in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like the crowd, no offense to, I'm not, this is an attack on the fans. Like, I know the fans there, they enjoy seeing the shows. But to me, I feel like you should pay off the Jey Uso, finally turning thing at a big show. I don't look at Night of Champions as a big show. I don't know about you.
No, I don't really think
we almost didn't preview it. I think we know how we feel.
Part of the reason I don't feel the need to really preview these shows is because it's a Saudi Arabia show, and I don't want to give them press. I don't want to give them publicity. But
that's why it won't be in our title, baby.
Well, it's just it is, but it's also like how like these shows, how like wrestling media works is that like fucking WWE is the biggest company in the world. We have to cover their things. I just heavily want to stress here, I don't support the show. I don't like the show. I don't like Saudi Arabia. I don't care how big of a show it's going to be. It's all bullshit. But at the same time, like, it's all guaranteed money. Like, having a Peacock subscription and watching the show is not going to, or not watching the show is not going to affect their bottom line. I would have to unsubscribe from Peacock earlier this month or whatever, and not get paid for this month. I would have to, it's just dumb. It's guaranteed money. There's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do as a customer or consumer to stop WWE from doing more of these shows because they're getting guaranteed money. The only thing I could do would be to cancel my Peacock subscription, but that like hurts WWE tangentially, So it's
barely.
Yeah. So that's minimum of what I can do. They I don't know what percentage of my $10 a month they get, but
no,
I doubt it's a lot.
I think they got I think they got like a flat guarantee type thing. I don't even think it's like, oh, you're not streaming anymore. That means WWE gets less money.
Exactly.
I think they just got the money and they're like, yeah, here you go.
Anyways, I think the Usos are going to turn in the bloodline. And then that's going to feud off into Jey Uso versus Roman or something at Money in the Bank. And that's the title match there. I think that makes sense.
Money in the Bank.
I think the problem is that like doing that, start collapsing the bloodline. Does that mean, are we going to start collapsing the world title reign for Roman? These are the things I think about. Or how much longer
think it ends. You would think the reign ends at SummerSlam.
Against whom?
It was Cody.
At SummerSlam this year?
Yeah. It's going to end against Cody.
But they're on two different brands.
Yeah. Yep. Because that matters.
Second main event, Brock Lesnar versus Cody.
Yeah, with Cody has a broken arm or something.
Yes. He did not see a doctor. He saw Triple H, and Triple H said by his own eyes he can tell it's a broken arm. Dr. Triple H.
Dr. H.
Dr. Hunter. Dr. Hunter's Dr. Hunter is just Craven, the Hunter. So I think Brock is winning here. I think the idea here is that having Cody wrestle with a broken arm, that he will look he has an out for his defeat for losing to Brock. Oh, he wrestled for a broken arm. Of course he lost. And then Brock will go on and probably challenge Seth Rollins for the title and probably win it.
You say that. I say Galaxy Brain, they're going for Cody and Seth in the Hell in a Cell, but in storyline, where Cody overcomes the odds with a broken arm to somehow beat Brock Lesnar because somehow the Codyverse has made its way into WWE, folks. It's made its way all the way to WWE. And I feel like this is the type of thing that, I don't know, I could be way off here, but I think Cody wins here. He enters the Money in the Bank ladder match. He wins the Money in the Bank, and he cashes in on Roman Reigns for the main event of SummerSlam. That is what I've decided. That is what I'm going with. Maybe Brock just smashes him and kills him. It's over.
Well, you say that.
That's just as possible.
You say that, but I kind of like this idea of Brock beats Cody. Brock then beats Seth Rollins at no, just stay with me here. At SummerSlam, Cody has the briefcase, and now Cody can decide if he wants to beat Brock Lesnar for the title or go to and try to defeat Roman again.
I don't want Seth to lose.
I know. Well, that's WWE shooting him in the foot. That's what I'm saying.
See, when you said that, I instantly thought you were booking me Roman versus Brock again, with all the titles on the line.
Now we're talking. We're actually.
And I was
talking.
like, I hate that you're kind of probably going to end up being right if that happened. Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see what happens there, I guess. And then the World Heavyweight Title Tournament final match: AJ Styles versus Seth Rollins. A new world champion's getting crowned.
When this doesn't main event, they'll just further the idea that this belt is secondary.
Does this match happen before or after Roman?
I'm guessing before because it's WWE, but it should happen after in the main event.
Mm-hmm.
But well, think about it this way, right? Brock's probably just going to want to get the hell out of Saudi, so he'll probably go first.
Yeah.
He either goes first or last.
Yeah.
So Cody and Brock's out of the way. And then you're going to be like, all right, do we just stick Roman in the middle of the show? Or does he main event another show with the tag team titles on the line because he's Roman?
It's a great question. These are all great questions that I wish I had any sort of answer to.
Yeah. That says Seth Rollins.
Yeah,
No.
I think Seth Rollins winning. I think you can't put the title on AJ
if he doesn't.
Styles. Seth Rollins is younger. AJ Styles said that the belt is already third rate under Roman. So
I'm not winning this, brother.
So I'm gonna bury it on my way out, brother. Yeah, so I think that's what's gonna be happening here.
All right.
Night of Champions. Happening at
we're never going to talk about it on the show, so
happening at 9 a.m. in the morning. Probably. I don't know.
It's 1 p.m. for us.
Oh, good for them. Well, you mentioned that. Let's talk about our schedule. So patreon.com/counterpod. That we got a lot of stuff. This is schedule talk. A lot of stuff coming your way. Patreon.com/counterpod is where we'll be doing our live instant reaction to Double or Nothing. You can subscribe to any tier on the Patreon to be able to listen to that live and join the conversation with us. We would love to have you there. So definitely check that out. Additionally, we have a lot of shit happening of our schedule coming up because I'm going to a wedding next week. And then you are going, I don't remember where you're going, but you're going somewhere the week after that. I think it was vacation. The week after that. So we have the Double or Nothing review on Patreon this Sunday. Then we will be recording our next episode on we still decided the 5th. I think we're still doing it.
Yeah. Yep, that's what you said.
June 5th, which is the Monday after Dominion. So we'll be talking
nights, probably
nights. So Ring Post Radio nights on the 5th. We'll be talking Dominion on that show, Against All Odds, New Japan's All Together Again show. And
whatever else comes up within that time.
Whatever else comes up. The following week, currently we have scheduled a interview. I'm not going to say who with, but currently we have a scheduled for the following week. We don't have recorded yet. That's why I'm not going to say anything yet. I'm not going to say it until we have it locked in the can. But we have a schedule that's going to come out for the week where Sky's on vacation, for a replacement bonus episode for Ring Post Radio with an interview. So that should be interesting. I think it's going to be a good interview. We just haven't recorded yet, so I'm not going to say anything more about it, but that will come out on June 11th. And then you and I will be back actually recording on a Sunday on June 18th. That episode, we'll be talking Forbidden Door 2. We'll be talking Collision.
Episode 1.
And then whatever else we'll be talking about. Triple Mania? Who knows?
Whatever, yeah. And then the week after that, we'll be live reviewing Forbidden Door.
Yes, we'll do a live review of Forbidden Door immediately afterwards. So if you join the Patreon, you're going to get... if you join, I think that might within the month. Yeah, if you join the Patreon either today, tomorrow, or Sunday, join either tier, $1 or $5. That monthly cycle starts on that 28th, let's say, of Double or Nothing, and will go to June 28th. So you'll be able to get Double or Nothing and Forbidden Door 2 as instant live reactions. That you will be able to get on the patreon.com/counterpod. Additional Patreon content that is coming out. I've been doing a series about post-Elite 2019 Ring of Honor called New Blood, about the faction Lifeblood with Juice Robinson and David Finlay and Tennille Dashwood and Mark Haskins and Bandito and Tracy Williams. I've been doing that series. You can get all that stuff. Episode 3 is coming out today. I should have released it earlier, but that's coming out today. And there'll be another episode after that, probably next week. Ryan Hasn't Seen Anything, our watch-along series, is starting June 5th. That day where we're going to be recording Ring Post Radio Nights. It's starting then. So we'll be starting that series as well. I'm working on other series as well to go along to Patreon. So for $5 on patreon.com/counterpod, you can get, if you sign up for $5 on the 28th of June, or today, or yesterday, or tomorrow, or whatever, you will be able to get access to all the New Blood retrospective series I'm doing. The first couple episodes of Ryan Hasn't Seen Anything Season 2, along with the first season of Ryan Hasn't Seen Anything Season 1, and 2 live instant reactions to Double or Nothing and Forbidden Door 2, along with whatever else we upload to the Patreon, including the Drop Your Shorts stuff with Okada Shorts, the possibly early things for Your Dose of Death, any other retrospective series I'm working on. I got 2 other ideas for retrospective series. One of them you and I talked about while we were recording Ryan Hasn't Seen Anything the other day. I already started looking into it. So a bunch of other stuff coming your way. So now's a good time to get on Patreon. Patreon.com/counterpod. That's the hard sell for that. Plugs? Any other plugs, Scotty? Anything other plugs? And your match of the week that we have not talked about.
Follow me at Scotty Wrestling on Twitter. Next week will be the final of the Hana Kimura series on Stardom Road, so you'll want to check that out. We're going to be talking some of her best matches, her legacy, and the most recent memorial show for her. So that should be a lot of fun. I'm just looking at Collision tickets right now, see how it's selling. It looks like it's selling pretty well. I think they've already oversold Double or Nothing, but that's besides the point. And my match of the week,
I'm assuming it's from Pinks.
It is from Pinks. It is the main event. It was Miki Iwata and Mio Momono versus Sari and Aja Kong. By the way, Sari is very back.
Good. No stink? No WWE stink on her? No rust?
0 stink. I've never... so I said this on my Joshi podcasts, but her return match with Chihiro Hashimoto was the first time I've ever seen someone shake off the rust in throughout a match.
Wow.
Like, it started and you're like, all right, we'll see. And by the end, you're like, oh, shit, it's gone. And then this match, she had no stink. So, yeah, she's back, ready to go. And I think she can be the person that really helps Joshi right now. So, outside of Stardom, I should say. So, looking forward to that. And, yeah, we'll be back next week. Oh, we'll be back tomorrow. Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
The live review for Double or Nothing. Let's hope it's a good show. people because our preview wasn't as good as it was good.
It was a
as,
good preview. It wasn't favorable.
No, I definitely didn't leave the preview saying, can't wait.
Yeah, that's fair. That is fair. My match of the week is gonna be a weird one. Because you know me. I'm all over the place in my wrestling watching right now. I watched Lord Steven Regal versus the Belfast Bruiser in a parking lot brawl match on Monday Night Nitro in 1996. It was a good match. What can I say? It's a good match.
Oh,
This is the Belfast Brawler is Fit Finlay. If you do not know, he's Fit Finlay versus William Regal, essentially.
That's a wild match to watch. Did you see what?
You should watch it. You should watch it. It's pretty good. It's only 6 minutes long. Pretty good. Check it out.
Right.
Check it out. It's on YouTube. Check it out.
Pretty good.
It's on Peacock. Pretty good. You were gonna say something else?
No, we'll talk about it after.
All right, perfect. So subscribe to patreon.com/countoutpod. Follow the whole show at countoutpod. Follow me at Ryan Icy. Follow Scotty at Scott E Wrestling. Subscribe to the show. We're going to be moving the schedule around as I just already laid out. So make sure you subscribe to the show to make sure to be able to get everything, whether you're subscribing to our YouTube channel or our Twitch account, wherever you're watching this live stream, subscribe there to make sure you get those live streams when they're happening. Or conversely, on the audio versions, you can be able to hear that. Hear all that stuff on whatever podcast platform you use. So make sure you subscribe to Ring Post Radio and tell all your friends about it. We got a lot of stuff. It's gonna be a big summer. I'm excited. Yeah, we would appreciate
excited for Collision.
Excited for Collision.